Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your off-center host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And boy, am I happy to be back today. Oh man, am I happy to be back today. Have we got some things to talk about? Yes, the answer to that, I realized after I said it, that question, the answer to that question that I just asked rhetorically is yes, we have many things to talk about, many great things. we've got all the legal drama you can muster is in here. We've got down to the wire answers. We've got defendants dodging service. We've got the worst legal reasoning you can picture. We've got a lawyer so fraught with how damaged his clients are that he has to throw literally anything he can think of into his defense. It's a disaster. Everything is broken. You can share this answer with lawyers. You don't need to give them context. You don't need to give them anything. They'll read it and go, oh dear God, what is happening here? Why? Why would someone write this? Why would anyone do this? Did they write it themselves? Did they get a wiki how? Did they ask Maddox how to write this answer? What happened? God, man, is their lawyer dead? Is he dead? He must be dead. He's not. He wrote it. He's a super lawyer. I can't do it. I can't take it. I can't take it. It couldn't have happened. You couldn't have asked for this. That would have been too much. You would have been like, listen, gods of justice, please make this filing just unintelligibly stupid. Please do it. And you would have thought, no way. Like, it's like asking Santa for a Ferrari. It ain't happening. And then they do it. And then they just go ahead and give it to you. They give it to you. Santa drops the Enzo right on your doorstep. What did you do? What kind of good boy were you? And yes, John, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of everything. We're going to talk about all this stuff in just a minute. I'm letting people fill in. I'm going to take a sip of tea. We're working on that Milo sponsorship. We'll see if that goes as well as the Lagavulin sponsorship went. Oh my goodness. I've not had Milo's tea in like 4 days because I was down in Miami for a friend's wedding. So I apologize for not streaming on Friday. This is, of course, what happens when your friends get married, like, later in life. I guess they decide that they have money to do destination weddings and that all their friends can just spend their money to go visit. I'm mischaracterizing this, of course. But, you know. No, so I was down in Miami with the lovely lady Rackets. We were enjoying very old friends who've gotten married. It was a good time. A very good time was had. And then now we're back. And as I'm sitting at the airport wondering why in God's name an answer had not been filed by 10 a.m. today. And then on the plane, just perusing, and I find out that there has been a filing did occur very, very late in the day, somewhere around 4 p.m. Central Time. An answer was filed, and I'm going to address one of the big questions that happened today, and part of it is my fault. I apologize for my cock-teasy tweets early on, but yes, I thought it was possible that they would default on this filing. Now, are they technically in default? Probably not. Probably not, but I'm going to run through that in just a minute before we hit the documents, okay? I'm going to run through and talk about why they're probably not in default, and we'll talk about, just as an educational primer, what default judgment is. But first, we're going to do a full kind of refresher course. For those of you in the back who have not been attending church as often as your parents would want you to. No, I'm just kidding, of course. But for those of you who have missed some streams or haven't been following the drama as closely, let me do a refresh, a recap of where we are and why today was such a big day. Okay, so this is about Vic Mignogna. And after this recap, I'm going to do super chats. And then after those, documents. All right, this is about Vic Mignogna. Right? Vic Mignogna has retained Ty Beard, the lawyer, to sue several people on the grounds of basically defamation and tortious interference, along with some other sprinklings, depending on the party and the circumstances. But the root causes of this are defamation, which is a lie told to a third party about you that causes you damage. Okay, so in this case, Vic. A lie about Vic told to someone else that caused Vic damage. Tortious interference is a little bit different. It can involve lies, but it can also involve truth as long as you're in Texas. Basically, tortious interference is someone with no right to interfere in a contract, calling up, or not necessarily calling, doing something with the express purpose of interfering with said contract. Okay? That's tortious interference of the contract. There's another one, tortious interference with business relations. Both are on the table now, and that one is more like defamation. It's called business defamation colloquially, but basically it means doing something that impugns someone in their business activity to the point where we can't determine if they would receive a opportunity for a contract in the future, so we say there are damages. So, like if I run around and say that one person never pays their debts, their business debts specifically, they never pay their business debts, this business never pays its debts, and I create some like papers or documents to lie about the business debts and I mail them to all of their competitors or something, and that we don't know what contracts they wouldn't get because of those statements. So those become tortious interference with prospective business relations. All right, so there's a basic rundown of those. Those are the main three sort of claims in Vic's case. He has currently sued Funimation, Jamie Marchi, Monica Rial, and Ron Toye. Okay, Monica Rial and Ron Toye are the perpetually never weds. I don't know if that's like a personal choice or just they haven't gotten round to it. Whatever it is, they are an unmarried couple. They are mildly hideous people who have decided to delve into hysterics with all of this. You'll know Ron Toye's tweets are authentic and not a joke or a satire account when they involve more than 18 smiley emojis in one tweet. That's how you know you've got a genuine Ron Toye tweet, if there are at least 18 smiley emojis. Those are the parties who have been sued. Potential other candidates involve Mars Girl, Anime News Network, IO9, Beth Elderkin, Samantha Inu Hart, Sean Schemmel, Chris Sabat, Sabat, I don't know. Those are the ones that are easy ones kind of off the top of the head. People who have very likely defamed Vic, seem to have defamed Vic at least publicly, and many of them are suspected to have defamed Vic privately. I don't have direct evidence. I mean, I probably do actually have some direct evidence somewhere, but I don't have any handy for those people. What Mars Girl? I mean, yeah. But those people are on the chopping block. They are not included in the lawsuit at the beginning, and there are good reasons for that. Either there's not enough solid evidence to really nail them to the wall, People like Mars Girl are in California. That makes it more difficult. People like Funimation, or not Funimation, Anime News Network are Canadians and no one likes them. I'm just kidding, Canadian friends. No, but it makes it very tricky and costly to do international litigation. Like, do you sue them in Texas and drag them in? Can you do that? Do you sue them up in Canada? Can you afford to do that? Do you have to hire local counsel? All of that stuff. Okay, so the long story short is we have 4 parties that were sued. Only 2 have definitively been served. That is Monica Rial and Ron Toye. They were served through their counsel, Mr. Casey Eric, who is a personal injury lawyer out of Dallas. Not just personal injury, commercial litigator, business defamation. He seems like the right guy for the job. He's out of Dallas. He's with Kessler Collins, which is a firm of some repute. Yeah, they hired this guy. He agreed to accept service. Now, this is why I'm going to tell you there's probably not a default on the answer today. The typical rule in Texas, the rule of civil procedure is once you are served, you have until 10 a.m. on the following Monday, following 20 days after service of the complaint. Okay? So you serve them the complaint and you say, and your summons says that they have to respond by 10 a.m. on the Monday following 20 days following service. They were served on something like August 18th. Maybe it was 14th. Doesn't really matter. Whatever day it was, this would be like day 25. So they're well within that this would be the day. 10 a.m. normally. But I've been told that there was actually an agreement, and that agreement just specified today. It didn't specify the 10 a.m. thing. Now, whether or not that agreement actually would allow someone to go beyond the 10 a.m. deadline is questionable, because the understanding would be that they'd have 10 a.m. today. But that agreement most likely would allow them to serve after 10 a.m. In any case, going for a default judgment within a couple hours of that service date, even on the same day of that answer date, is pretty unlikely that the judge is going to grant a default judgment. April, not August. Sorry. April, not August, April. Yes. I apologize. Thank you, chat. Thank you. Okay. So, why am I thinking about August? There's something, I can't think of why I would want to think about August. August is hot and humid. Okay. So, even if it were technically in default, there's almost no way a judge comes out and says, look, we're going to definitely grant a default judgment on the same day. It's very, very unlikely. Judges do have a lot of latitude. Plus, with electronic filing, in all honesty, electronic filing basically allows almost anybody to say, well, we had a technical problem. We tried to file it today, but we couldn't. So we filed it the next day. And the judge is going to say, okay, because judges hate the electronic filing systems as well. That's just a thing. So can we make fun of them for being late? Well, you can make fun of them for whatever you want. Absolutely. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. I think making fun of them is one of the most fun activities on the planet. And we're going to be doing a lot of that today. But, today was their deadline to file the answer. Now, in the meanwhile, Monica and Ron have noticed Vic to be heard on May 30th. And then Ty noticed Monica and Ron to be available on May 14th and 15th, respectively, which would be tomorrow and Thursday. No, tomorrow and Wednesday. Okay? But suddenly they're not available, and then Casey Eric has an absolute conniption about the fact that Ty noticed Ron and Monica to be deposed before Vic, because Casey Eric said to Toye, I will depose Vic first. I'm going to depose Vic first. And apparently, Casey thinks that there's a rule of civil procedure which would then allow him dibsies. That's Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 249.3. It's dibsies when you call first. So he called dibsies on deposing Vic before Monica and Ron. So therefore, Toye, under the rule of dibsies, cannot legally depose them. It's just how it goes, right? That's how court works. Except it isn't. It isn't at all. So then, and hopefully someday, like, we can really nail this down. But let me tell you what happened. There's basically a back and forth between the law firms, and apparently Mr. Casey Eric is unable to attend any hearing between today and any hearing between today and the 30th of May. He's just gone or busy every single day in May that the court is open. Not that the court has here every day in May. That's not a weekend or a holiday. He's just gone. You know? So there you go. That's apparently how that turned out. That's how desperate they are to depose Vic first, is that he's just vanished. So now Toye has moved to quash or get rid of the deposition of Vic on the 30th, and they have set a hearing on the 31st, which is incidentally the first day that Mr. Casey Eric has decided that he would be available for a hearing. So, and he had said that a while back, so that's why he just had to suck it up and take it and take the hearing. You know. So, I guess. Now, here's why. Here's why this was his plan, I presume. In Texas, there is a motion for dismissal, and it's called the Texas Citizens Participation Act, TCPA, all right? When you make a motion for dismissal under the TCPA, there's an automatic stay on discovery. The TCPA is an anti-SLAPP motion. An anti-SLAPP motion is this idea that someone would bring a lawsuit specifically for the purposes of using the state to stifle the free speech of someone else. So, since they have people doing that, they propose this TCPA motion. And what they don't want to do is have someone sue someone, make them undergo an arduous cost of discovery, when they could instead just file a TCPA motion, say, nah, this speech is protected. You can't stop me by using the courts. You can't force me to pay a bunch of money. And if you win on TCPA, you win outright the entire case, and you win attorney's fees that you had to pay to go ahead and go through the TCPA. It's a one-shot victory. But that discovery stay is what's important here. Monica and Ron could file the TCPA at any time. They could have already filed it. We know there's a 99% chance they're going to file it. They could have filed it from the day they were served. They could have filed it today. They could file it tomorrow. They could file it any day. They can file it up to 60 days past the service time. And if they wanted to, they could probably ask the judge for an extension on that, and he'd probably grant it because judges have broad latitude to do it. So their plan was to depose Vic and then immediately file a TCPA, which would put up to a 90-day stay on discovery. Technically, it's only up to the hearing date for the TCPA, and then whatever decision time comes after that for the judge. But we'll just say 90 days for the sake of ease. Their plan was to get Vic's deposition, put it out in public to embarrass, humiliate, and defame Vic, for 90 days without an answer, without any sort of repercussion to them. They would just have this thing come out. It would all be Vic's words. They would all be under oath. And they would probably, if I had to guess, selectively edit it to get little snippets of things that would make Vic look bad. That's probably the plan. Can't verify it because I can't get in their head because they're too small. There's no vacancy in there. There's no room. No room inside those tiny, tiny brains. But that appears to have been their plan, which is why they're throwing an absolute hissy fit over all of this instead of just filing the TCPA. If they were really believing that this is just a TCPA, they would just file it and shut it down. Because if they're right, they win. Game over. There's no deposition that needs to happen. But they really, really want Vic's deposition. Why? They are scumbags. Period, period, period. They've been defaming Vic for months, and now they want to do it more. They want to do it more because they just want to help him. Remember, that's their clarion call. We just want him to get the help he needs to admit his wrongdoings, and then he'll be welcomed back to the industry with open arms. Right. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Except you are clearly trying to abuse discovery to get his deposition, then file your TCPA and continue to defame him, you lying sacks of garbage. And it's not that clever of a trick. So stop pretending that you're some masterful orchestrators of some elite gay ops through the court system. You got caught. You got caught in the trick. Now you have two options. File the TCPA or suck it up and depose Vic after Monica and Ron. That's how it's going to work out. Do I smell whiskey? I do. I can't deal with these people too much without some help. So I'm breaking out. I have a tiny bit of this 25-year Dalwhinnie left. And tonight is the night I will finish it. It is a special glass. All right. One moment. Okay. All right. Okay. So, right now, the state of things is that Monica and Ron have answered. Okay? There is a hearing set for the 31st of May. The 31st of May, and that hearing is about the discovery nonsense that's been going on. And should be very, very interesting to see how that turns out. That is, for the person asking, that is how Toye will counter the discovery abuse, is by simply going to the judge. Now, no one wants the first interaction with a judge to be a discovery hearing with discovery abuse. Both sides are going to look annoying to the judge in this. There's no way around it. But when you have one party clearly abusing the rules of discovery for the stated purposes in their own letter to publicly defame Vic Mignogna, well then, I guess you have to go to the court. And then here's the best part. For all of Ronica's or MoRons, whatever you want to call them, for all of their huffing and puffing over this, for all of that, when they go to this hearing, they're going to have to explain to the judge on the witness stand why they should be allowed to continue defaming Vic Mignogna. They're going to have to do that under oath. Now, so what they were really trying to do was avoid being deposed under oath. So they did it so hard that now they get to do it to the judge. They get basically a mini deposition to the judge, where Toye likely will just pull out tweet after tweet after tweet and say, you've said this for months. Why now don't you want to talk? Here's a good one, Ron. We can't wait to go to court. We relish it. It will be great when everything is out in public. Then why are you avoiding deposition? Care to explain this to the court under oath? Why would you do that if you're so eager for everything to be out? Tweet, tweet, tweet. Answer the question. You're under oath. Answer the question. You're under oath. Every single time. Until the judge is so bored of hearing it, he just says, oh my God, we get it. They're defaming the guy, and they want to continue defaming the guy. Can we please just schedule these depositions or have a TCPA already? They can still go ahead and file that TCPA up until the day of the hearing. They could maybe even file it the day of the hearing, and it would probably stay the hearing because the hearing would be on a discovery matter. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Right now they're playing chicken, and we'll have to see if they're ready to file that TCPA to avoid discovery, or if they're going to try and go in and explain to a judge why they should be allowed to continue their stupid shenanigans. If they've got balls, I guess they could try it. It's a dumb play. A very, very dumb play. But that's where we're at right now. Now, as for Funimation, to my knowledge, they have not been specifically served yet, and that is for good reason. The good reason is Funimation does not have what's called a registered agent in Texas. Their registered agent is where they're incorporated in Delaware. Now, their primary place of business is Texas, which means they're under Texas jurisdiction. They should have a registered agent, but they don't, for whatever reason. Be it incompetence, be it being annoying, whatever it is, they don't have a registered agent. So the process to serve them is to serve the documents onto the Texas Secretary of State, who has an office that will specifically find the registered agent in another state and serve the papers on them according to that state's service of process rules. So they need to serve, they serve Texas, and then Texas serves the registered agent in Delaware. This could be avoided if Funimation decides to accept service and waive the service requirements. If their attorney does that, then it's fine. To my knowledge, neither of those two things have happened yet. As for Jamie Marchi, we're going to get into this in just a second, but Jamie Marchi has been flat out dodging the process server, and so now they're going to ask for an alternative means to serve her, because believe it or not, sitting in your house with no lights on in the recliner going, they can't serve me if I'm not home. Can't serve me if I'm not home. There's no lawsuit if I'm not home. There's no lawsuit if I'm not home. That isn't actually a valid way to stay out of a lawsuit. There are other means to serve you. And so Jamie Marchi has been holed up like Saddam Hussein in her hovel, I guess, trying to avoid the process server. And now they're asking the court for another manner to serve her. And we're gonna cover that in just a second. So I hope that helps you catch up. I'm going to hit all the $20 plus super chats starting right now. And then we're going to hit those documents about Marchi. We'll do maybe a little super chat break depending on timing. And then we're going to hit the answer document, and we're going to smooth sail all the way to the end of the show. The show might run long. I'm sorry if it does. But hey, when you have stupidity of this magnitude, it requires a response of similar magnitude. Okay. Simulated Internet Friend says, I'm sorry I can't watch this episode of Nikki Rackets, Vampire Lawyer Live. It's too bad because it sounds like there's a good chase scene. May Ty continue to serve up these do you feel in charge moments for Kick Vic. Yes, that's great. DCV Titan says, so after blue balling us earlier today, I am so sorry. Believe me, mine were cobalt blue the entire day, just waiting to find out if they defaulted. I hope you're ready to vigorously work the shaft tonight, and no hiring Mars Girl to take over for you. We don't want those levers that could move the world arms causing damage. No. Again, Mars Girl is the only person on the planet who could give a hand job across state lines. There you go. It'd be a federal sexual assault. StarCraft SF. Process servers don't like being dodged. We will find you. We know how to find you, and dodging only makes us want to embarrass you in public for wasting our time. We love shouting, "You've just been served!" in a crowded area. I prefer, you got served, y'all. Cloudfire181 says, hey, Nick, do you have any bets on who's going to be thrown under the bus? It's already Funimation and Rooster Teeth. In the answer, Funimation and Rooster Teeth right under the bus by Monica and Toye. Hey, Monica or Funimation, Rooster Teeth. The first thing they do, well, not the first thing in their answer, but one of the first things they do, it's in their answer, is to go ahead and put Funimation and Rooster Teeth right under the bus. Blame them. It's their fault, Dad. It's their fault. They need to be looking at this because I mean, we're going to talk about Rooster Teeth specifically in a little bit. Since these people are snakes in human form, who do you think is the slimiest out of the lot? God, I want to say Toye, but I think he's too much of a beta to be in charge. So I think it's probably Monica. I don't know. Oh my goodness, what a disaster these people are. Lulu CC says, Nick, could the Texas court force a said person to be produced to show up for the court date? I.e. Jamie Marchi to have her stop dodging service, Rial and Soy Boy as well. Rial and Soye did not dodge service, to their credit. Marchi is dodging service, and no, the court will not force someone to show up for the lawsuit. You'll just lose. That's it. That's how that'll go. If Marchi gets served by publication, which is what they're asking, and then fails to answer, it's a default judgment. She's just prolonged the inevitable and made it more annoying. And by the way, guys, every time you get some gimmies, with the court. You start to see this as you're like when you're a young lawyer and you catch someone screwing up and you're like, aha, I got him, sucker. They're done. And then the judge is like, okay, look, don't do that again. You're like, wait a minute. No, the remedy for this, could be sanctions. It could be this and this and this. And the judge is like, look, mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. And people do get those gimmies, but they don't last forever and they are finite in supply. So this is Jamie Marchi just crumpling up her first gimme and throwing it away. Because now, the next time she's late for something, the judge is going to go, wait a minute, wasn't she dodging process? Isn't she out here already just increasing costs and wasting time? Seeing a pattern here. That's how this goes. It's a dumb move. You're going to get served. You can't run forever. And we do have the internet, and you're on Twitter, and people have been served via Twitter for dodging process, especially when it's shown that they're professional organizations or people with a Twitter presence, especially a verified one. Bad move. But no, the court won't force her to show up. The court will just say, you lose. And then comes judgment, and that's not a good thing. Ink Penification says, here lies two individuals whose hearts beat to the lush green hue of envy, and whose vindictive... who are so vindictive that they drag a good man into their abyss of their own making. May those two learn humility. What do you think of my monologue? Good monologue, buddy. Automata says something perhaps to highlight to other people, or to people. Does it matter that some of the affirmative defense claims contradict each other? Not really. You can make fun of it, and the other lawyers can point out that it's contradictory, but ultimately, pleadings allow you to make contradictory arguments. Because you get to try every viable defense. Whether or not it conflicts or contradicts another defense doesn't really matter. If you can make a viable defense, then you're allowed to make it. Let's see here. Siren Jag says, here's a warning. This haiku evokes memories so forbidden to Minnesota mothers that it may induce spontaneous ovulation. Read at your own risk. It's titled Minnesota. Whoa, okay. Muskellunge, 10 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Come ride this John Deere. Okay. Well, that's certainly a haiku. Certainly a haiku. Oh wait, sorry. Back to Automata's question. Does the specific one that claims some claims were known to be false count as an admission to be used? Possibly. We'll go through all of them. Shamu13 says, Nick, did you know that Medicare recommended you to the guy he interviewed on Saturday? I have heard, but I haven't watched it yet. By the way, the guy said he was abducted by aliens and that he needed your legal assistance. That sounds absolutely charming. I can't wait to speak to him. That's Mandar, if I understand correctly. Should be very interesting. Thank you, Jim, for the referral. Goofus Maximus says, let's pretend this went to court and Vic wins X amount of dollars. Can you please describe the tools the court has to enforce this order and how they work? Also, congratulations on being first and only lawyer I've ever dropped coin on. Woohoo! Thank you. Thank you. That's an honor. The court has all sorts of tools at their disposal. They can levy against property. They can garnish wages. They could potentially garnish tax returns. You could hire a collection agency. Post-judgment discovery is actually a very interesting thing to find out where they're hiding various assets or income. They could try and take money from contracts or that are upcoming. They could try and take money from any sort of royalties that are coming in. There's all sorts of ways that the court could do it. It really depends on the specific situation, the specific person. But post-judgment discovery is yet another deposition, and also you can depose other things like agents and clients and other people that are involved. So should be fun. Intimidator 108 says, hearing about all this and other things is just mind-boggling. Just how stupid is Shane? Incalculably. Through Tug's recent video, I saw his tweet. I'm sure this has already been asked to some degree, but how badly did Jamie screw herself? She's not screwed. She just threw away a gimme. That's what she's done at this point. So we'll see. Ryan Mercado says, how awkward would it be if the process server serves Marchi during an appearance at a convention, especially during a signing and photo op? That would be hilarious. I don't think it's going to happen. The problem with this is, of course, having to hire a process server in that town, available on that day, who can get there between those hours, who can pay the admission. You know, you got to pay their admission fee. You got to get them in. And the con has to not like throw the person out before they serve them and all that stuff. They're just gonna publish it. So that's how that'll work. Austin Heartless says, I hate to bring down the mood and change the subject. Nobles lost Paz's father passed away today. Take a shot for the loss of this great man. Sorry to hear about that. Lost Paz. Very, very sad for you, buddy. I will swig some whiskey for you. Godspeed to him and prayers to your family, bud. All right. Let's see. Rolana 1 says, would you think Ty getting the judge to agree to a confidentiality on Vic's deposition is very likely? I don't know. I don't know if it's likely or not, but I do know that them having to answer for that in court will be very funny. Dick Fingers says, hey, Nick, finally got some proper 12 Woodford Reserve and Basil Hayden's to start. Any other recommendations? We have ABC stores. Just get anything in those price ranges and up, and just start experimenting. Find what you like. Don't let anybody else tell you what you should like. I'll recommend, I'm not the biggest fan, but I'll recommend Maker's Mark. Give it a shot because it's very different from all of those. It's a lot sweeter. And some people really like the sweetness of Maker's Mark. So that's a good next bottle. It's also right in that same price range. I like the Spike Man says, honestly, the best anime of the season. Fight me, weebs. No, I'm with you. Arriva says, because dibs, what are we, 5? I guess that's the idea. And Charles S says, Funimation is being sued by Koji Cast for patent infringement. Not a good time to be Funimation. Yeah, it looks like, oh my goodness, an airplane ride, guys. It looks like Funimation's got a lawsuit there. I'm not sure of the merits of it, but, you know, it's something they'll have to fight, and that's annoying. Patent suits are expensive and just a giant waste. They're not actually a waste of time if you have a patent that you want to enforce, but we'll see. I don't know. The technology they're describing in it, I have a hard time believing that Koji Cast owns it when other companies seem to have similar tech. So, all right, let's do this. Let's hit these Marchi documents, right? Let's hit these Marchi documents. I believe that's where we're at for Super Chats for now for the $20 plus. We will go through all of them later in the stream, but we got to get these documents going, right? So here we go. To the Honorable Judge of said court, now comes plaintiff Victor Mignogna as movement herein and brings this motion for substituted service pursuant to Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 106, and in support thereof shows the court the following. Attempts to serve process on defendant Jamie Marchi have been unsuccessful, as set out in the affidavit attached hereto as Exhibit A, and incorporated herein for all purposes and referenced herein. Reasonably effective notice of the suit may be given to the defendant by having any person authorized by Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 103 leave a true copy of the citation with a copy of the petition and the order granting this motion attached, with anyone 16 years of age or older at the location specified in the attached affidavit, or by such other order of the court as it deems appropriate under the circumstances. So this is, most states will allow you to serve to someone who's 16 or sometimes it's 18 years of age or older at the residence or last known address of the person. But they're going here for such other order of the court as it deems appropriate under the circumstances. Wherefore, premises considered, movement prays that the court grants this motion for substituted service and for such other and further relief that may be awarded at law or in equity. Here we go. Here's Exhibit A. But first, we've got Grand Moff Alexander says, for the sake of argument, could one of these exceptional individuals like Arms Girl make the foolish mistake of representing themselves in civil court? They could do it. The court won't stop them. The court will probably actively discourage them, but they won't stop them from doing it. Not a chance. They'll let them proceed pro se in a civil case for sure. They won't recommend it, especially a complex piece of litigation like this. But yeah, they could be that dumb. So here's the affidavit. The following came to my hand on Tuesday, April 30th at 3:53 p.m. Citation and plaintiff's original petition for delivery to Jamie Marchi. Yep, and I know her address is in this. Her address is in a public document. It's not a dox. It's not anything like that. That's her address. Too bad. Unsuccessful attempt, May 1st, 2019, 7:45 p.m. Central. At 9411 Timberleaf Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75243. I attempted service at the above address. There was no answer at the door. When I went back to the car, I could see someone looking out the window. I went back and knocked on the door and rang the doorbell. I still did not get an answer. A vehicle belonging to the defendant was parked in front of the home. I left a card on the door for a call back. Unsuccessful attempt, May 4th, 2019, 5:25 p.m. CDT, same address. I attempted service, no answer at the door. Same thing on May 8th. Then another one, May 8th at 10 a.m. I attempted service at the above address. There was no answer at the door. A white BMW that belonged to the defendant was parked in front of the home. I checked for other vehicles registered to the defendant and at the same address. It appeared that the BMW was parked out front was the only vehicle registered to the defendant. The blinds were open downstairs. I sat across the street where the defendant would not be able to see me until about 1:05 p.m. At that time, an Encore utility truck arrived at the defendant's home. Driver got out and went to the defendant's door. I pulled in front of the home and waited. The defendant did not open the door. The Encore driver left the home as shown in Exhibit A, which also shows the vehicle registered to the defendant. The Encore driver sat in his truck for about 10 minutes and then left. I stayed another 10 minutes and then left. Unsuccessful attempt number 5, May 9th, 2:15 p.m. I attempted service at the above address. There were a couple of 5-gallon bottles of water at the door. I pulled across the street and waited a moment. There was a FedEx truck that pulled up and delivered carpet by leaving it at the door. I left a card on the carpet roll. I've made diligent efforts to deliver said papers to Jamie Marchi. I've made numerous attempts at her residence as described above. I believe an efficient way to effect service is by leaving a copy with anyone over 16 years of age or by securely attaching the citation with plaintiff's original petition attached to the front door of Jamie Marchi's residence, where it is sure to be seen by someone at the residence or in any other manner the affidavit or evidence before the court shows will be reasonably effective to give the defendant notice of the suit. I'm a person over 18 years of age and I'm competent to make this affidavit. I am a resident of the state of Texas. I'm familiar with the Texas rules of civil procedure as they apply to service of process. I'm not a party to this suit, nor related or affiliated with any herein, and have no interest in the outcome of the suit. I have never been convicted of a felony or of a misdemeanor involving moral turpitude. I have personal knowledge of the facts stated herein, and they are true and correct. Lamont Aldridge. There you go. That is that. Here is a picture of the BMW with the, that must be the random person who is knocking on the door. So there you are. That is what is requested. Oh, do we? We have viewership that, what? Over 9,000? That's impossible. There's no tie on this stream. Oh, goodness. Okay. Now, I've seen a couple people who've been confused about this next document, which is the order granting motion for substituted service. People are saying that the court has ordered this. That is not true. This is a proposed order that you would submit to the court for the ease of the judge to go ahead and sign the order. All right? So the judge can look at this, go, yeah, I agree with that, and then go ahead and sign the document rather than having to put up his own rather than having to write up his own order. He can just go ahead and use this order provided by one of the parties. So we'll go ahead and read that real quick. See, on this date, the court considered the motion for substituted service on the defendant, Jamie Marchi. Finds that as to defendant Jamie Marchi, facts set forth in the affidavit of Lamont Aldridge are accepted as true and incorporated herein as if set forth at length. Lamont exercised due diligence to serve process on defendant Jamie Marchi at a residence located at 9411 Timberleaf Drive, Dallas, Texas, 75243, multiple times. The manner of service ordered herein will be reasonably effective in giving defendant Jamie Marchi notice of the suit. It is therefore ordered that service of citation may be made on defendant Jamie Marchi by leaving a copy of the citation with a copy of the petition, a copy of this order attached on the door of defendant Jamie Marchi's residence and or abode as follows at her usual place of abode. So there you go. And so then this would be, the judge would sign this and go ahead and date it. And that would be an effective order of the court. If they choose to do that, they may not. They may not. So, since we have so many people here, may I ask that you go ahead and smash that like button. Smash that like button while we get ready to go through the juicy document, just in case some people haven't been made aware of this. Hitting that like button really helps it get into the YouTube trending thing and brings more people to this absolutely magnificent disaster. Thank you all for showing up, of course. But let me read this last $20 super chat, and then we're going to dive right into the beginning of this answer. I may take a break for some chats in the middle of it, but I got it. We got to get into this because this thing is like a drama in 10 parts. Just in this 10-page document, we're going all through all sorts. There's an emotional roller coaster. People are weeping. People are crying. It's nonsense. So we've got to get into that. $25-year Dalwhinnie, you've been a good bottle. A very good bottle. I think I bought this a little over a year ago, actually. All right. Defendant's original answer. Defendant's that's a proper apostrophe. One thing I'll say for Casey Eric is so far, he's doing better than Kevin Landau with at least one proper apostrophe. Yeah, Casey, you got it. You got it. To the honorable judge of said court, defendants Monica Rial and Ronald Toye file this original answer to plaintiff's original petition and respectfully show the court as follows. The reason they say original is because it's possible that either side could amend their pleadings to be better. Ty could get some new information and want to go ahead and amend their original petition to be the first amended petition, second amended, so on and so forth. And then they would have to answer to that amended petition and back and forth. So this helps us keep track of what exactly they're answering. Factual background. Let's start with this. This section in an answer document is 100% masturbatory. I'm not even going to say it's unnecessary. It is beyond unnecessary. It is self-gratifying. And this alone, this is one of the most offensive things that they've done. It cannot be stressed how transparent these piles of trash are, because their whole goal, this shows us right here, as if all of the other stuff weren't enough. This shows us that their goal in this is to continue to defame Vic Mignogna. That's their goal. He's not hurt enough for them. Think about that. He's not hurt enough for them. He's out of his jobs. He's out of conventions. His income is down. His reputation is hurt. He's forced to hire a lawyer. He's forced to go off of social media. He's forced to do all of this stuff. And it's not enough for these bloodthirsty vampires. And the sparkly gay kind from Twilight. They're not even cool vampires. These people are so hell-bent on destroying him that they put right in their pleading defamatory statements that are unnecessary. Why? Why do it? Why continue to defame him in your facts section? The same reason they wanted to defame him in a deposition broadcast to the world while the other party was hampered by a TCPA. It's so transparent and so obvious, and the true answer is because they've got nothing, and they know it. And they know it. So they put this section in here. In Texas, it's a notice pleading state. So you can make your pleadings. You just have to give them a reasonable idea of why they're being sued. And then general denial statements of every paragraph, just going through and saying, deny, and then maybe with some specific things thrown in where necessary, is actually sufficient pleading for an answer. They can just say, nope, none of this is true. And then they can list affirmative defenses if they want, like truth or whatever. They can do that. That's all they had to do. This is what they chose to do. They chose to make the following statement. And yes, before it happens, their first citation is to a forum. Their citation to a court is to a forum called Pretty Ugly Little Liars. And then I'm going to show you the first page of Pull, where it says this is rumor, and we're going to talk about how stupid it is to cite this in the first place. But here we go. For years, Women nationwide have complained publicly that plaintiff Vic Mignogna sexually harassed, intimidated, or groped them. 1. CEG prettyuglylittleliar.net topic 3255 Vic Mignogna. So as embarrassing as it is to put that in your pleading, let's talk about this real quick. Hold on. Notice, this is posted 8th of February, 2017. Can we see this? Can we see this? Let me make sure we're centered. Let me move it over just a hair. Okay. Vic Mignogna. Posted 8th of February, 2017. For years, right? Years. Well, here's the problem. Examples. CGL and ANN comments, again, ignoring the lunacy of putting forum comments in as evidence through 2019. Let's see. Documented list of Vic allegations and articles, mostly recent plus updated. We've got this stuff. This is interesting. Rekieta Law and Kickstarter. How did this get posted in 2017? Well, it didn't. This post has been updated. When was the last update? Does it even say? No. No, it doesn't seem to say. But this post was edited at some point. Some point between 8th of February 2017 and now. It had to be because on the 8th of February 2017, my YouTube channel had like one video on it and it was, I think it was a clip from Footloose, right? We've got Supergirl Twitter and Pull, alt-right YouTube. We've got fake evidence, arguments, and misinformation. All of this stuff. Jesse Pridemore and Todd Habercorn, that happened this year. This has been edited. It doesn't say when. So how can they claim that for years this has gone on? This is edited. This was edited February 8th. I'm not going to go through all of these, but there is some stuff. Let's see. He and a younger fan decided to reenact a scene from MoRon Host Club. And it was effing creepy and cringy to watch. I equate it to watching someone being molested in public. Notice this isn't actually a person complaining about sexual harassment or assault from Vic. This is someone complaining about a dramatized scene that was acted out in public at a con. That happened to someone else. He is very unprofessional. These, first of all, again, let's go to this. Long-standing internet rumors, right in the beginning. This is their... Let me suggest something. For those of you out there, you don't have to be lawyers. You don't have to be lawyers, okay? All right. Any of you who have been through high school English and had to write a persuasive paper, the order that you do things is monumentally important in persuasion. And the judge and the jury and everybody else are still people. They're not robots. They're not logic machines. Your first citation in the first line of your answer, the first thing you direct the court to look at is from liars, and it says specifically long-standing rumor. That's what they're going to hang their hat on. Remember, one of these people is Monica Rial, someone who is alleged to have 2 personal stories about Vic Mignogna, and the other person is her little cuckold on a leash, Ron Toye. They have the strongest evidence in the entire case in Monica. The strongest evidence is a first-hand account from Monica. 2 first-hand accounts, allegedly. One in a hotel room at a convention and one somewhere not specified. They're not good. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't misquote me. Don't at me or whatever, bro. Don't go thinking they're good. However, they're far better stories than anything on Pull. If the judge reads Pull, he might hang himself in Minecraft. Just from the sheer stupidity of these people thinking that I'm Vic's lawyer and that Vic is literally on a criminal trial with the death penalty involved. That's how dumb Pull is. That's where we are with them. And that is the first citation that Casey but effing mad Eric can come up with. Whew. Had to catch myself on that one. Casey, you can't possibly be this stupid to pick this as your go-to argument. But apparently you are. You have Monica. Just tell Monica's story. Monica Rial has allegations against Vic Mignogna that date back to blah, blah, blah. A personal story in which he assaulted her in a hotel room. Blah, blah, on blah, blah, blah date at blah, blah, blah con. And then that's all you actually have to say. And it would have been an infinitely better opening sentence than the drivel you cooked up. What on God's green earth were you thinking? Putting that in your... anywhere in your answer, much less in the first freaking sentence, you dummy. What are you doing? I've been telling people you're a competent, smart, capable lawyer the entire time, and here you go, trying your damnedest to strap on a helmet and fall off a building. I don't know what is wrong with you, why you would do this to yourself. What have I done to you to deserve having to read this in front of 9,000 people? I have to read absolute idiocy. You're like Dax Shepard in Idiocracy. What is happening here? Why would you write this? I don't know what to say. Huh? Okay. That aside, it's not going to be every line. I promised myself I wouldn't do that on every line of this answer. The complaints come from underage fans attending conventions. Actually, they largely don't. I don't know that any of the complaints. I am not actually sure if a single complaint comes from an underage fan. I would love to see him back up that statement. And respected, I mean, let's not be too hasty, voice actors who have experienced his degrading behavior. It is no surprise that Mignogna now intends to blame everyone but himself for his misconduct. Well, actually, no. See, the real thing is there hasn't been misconduct. There's just been a bunch of lying idiots running around spouting off for months, getting deliriously horny, slurping up their own juices as they just excrete all over the internet, and their stories get more and more ridiculous and more prominent. They go through traditional mudflation for my gaming friends out there, where things just keep blowing up bigger and bigger. Every time they tell this story, that fish is 2 feet longer and 10 times as stinky. His lawsuit is nothing more than a desperate ploy by a disgraced actor to drag others down with him, and a continuation of the harassment that has ruined his once noteworthy career. Wait a minute. A continuation of the harassment. Are they saying that he harassed people and that ruined his career? That'd be interesting. Mignogna is a public figure. Well, that's not a fact yet either, buddy. Not necessarily likely. And your clients probably aren't either, as they are resolute nobodies. if you would have said, hey, Nick, have you ever heard of the voice? Do you know the name of the voice of Bulma? I would have said, no, and who cares? Let's just put it out there. And then when you told me her name, I would forget it every single time you asked. The only reason I know is because I've been following this case so closely and had to read her stupid name all over the internet. But I couldn't tell you, other than like she's the 5th one, I couldn't tell you which Bulma she voiced. Was she in Attack of the Gods or Resurrection F? Or was she just in Super? Or are they different? I don't know. I wouldn't know them ever. Ever. I would never know her name if it wasn't for this case. In fact, I wouldn't know Vic's either, probably, just because that's not my circle, right? Now I do. I'm glad I know Vic's name, but he's probably not a public figure either, if we're being really honest here. Known for his voiceover work for characters in the English dubs of Japanese anime shows and his role as Captain Kirk in a fan fiction show called Star Trek Continues. A fan fiction show. Never heard of it. Personally. I mean, I have now. Prior to this lawsuit, never heard of it. You know what I said? Oh, someone made a fan fiction of Star Trek? That's interesting. Never knew it existed. Because outside of insular communities, these are not giant things. That's okay. That's where we live. That's where we live. I got a couple chats here. Sorry. 1 second. Kieran Fellwinter says, fan at a con. Hi, Miss Marchi, can you autograph this for me? Marchi, sure, of course I can. Wait, what is this? Fan, you've been served. Marchi, no. P.S. Thanks for popping my super chat cherry. No, thank you. Thank you, Kieran. The Texan 83 says, also, since we have so many people watching, can we get mods to spam the GoFundMe link? None of this glorious ponage comes free or cheap, and we all know Nick is a lousy shill for the GoFundMe. I am a lousy shill for the GoFundMe. Yes, let me pull that up as well while I read this next one. But it's gofundme.com/Vic-Kicks-Back. We're at 156,000. I'll just pull it up over here real quick. Whoops. 156,253. Guys, this is expensive. It really is. There are people out there who think that there's enough money in the GoFundMe right now. There really isn't. So there, I just spammed it a whole bunch. This is not likely to be enough money to carry all of this through to fruition. So please, you know, I'm a bad shill for it, but please consider donating to it. Okay. Don't, you know, it's gonna keep costing money. That's the reality. It's court, it's expensive. He's got a very good firm. And Monica and Rial's lawyer is happy to waste both their money and the GoFundMe money. So there you go. Okay. Next. Alistor's Knight says, I can't imagine what it is like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail nonetheless. I imagine it is frightening. Dread it, run from it. Justice arrives all the same, and now it is here. Tie beard to Jamie Marchi. And then finally, last one for now, as legit as it gets, says, Hoy, Nick. I'm going to Motor City Comic Con this weekend, and Monica is slated to be there. I intend to pay for her autograph because I love the anime more than I despise her. Also, I figure I know where the money will be going. Yes, what I will say is, again, please don't do anything to Monica. Be respectful. Be respectful to the convention policies. Don't like wear a I Heart Vic shirt or something when you go up to her booth. I mean, it's as funny as all of that is. I would just urge people over and over again to be polite, respectful. Don't do anything to mess with the convention, especially. The conventions don't want this drama. They want to stay away from it. So, that said, let's get back into this. Anime is a genre of animated entertainment typically originating in Japanese, and dubbing refers to the process of removing the original Japanese vocal track of a given anime character and replacing it with one's native language. Mignogna has acted in hundreds of productions, but is perhaps best known as the voice of Broly from the Dragon Ball animation film series. In December 2018, following the premiere of Dragon Ball Super Broly, which features Mignogna's vocal work, accusations of sexual harassment, some of which included minors, began surfacing. Soon, victims of Mignogna's sexual harassment and inappropriate conduct started coming forward and began posting their experiences online, with some going back as far as 1989. And notice, his second citation, if the first wasn't bad enough, is to a pretty much discredited anonymous person named Michelle on Twitter, who describes an incident with Mignogna where he was a cameraman and music video producer for Thomas Road Baptist Church, which is affiliated with private school Liberty Christian Academy. Michelle alleges that while working as assistant director for Liberty Christian Academy, something that Liberty Christian Academy has actually denied, their spring stage play, Mignogna knowingly made sexual advances on her, then a student and a minor. Actually, she would have been, if we're getting technical and pretending that this really happened, she would have been of the appropriate age of consent, only according to her story, though. Only according to her story. In Virginia, she would have been the appropriate age of consent, and therefore would not be a minor as far as sexual activity is concerned, if this even happened, which we can all just flatly figure that it didn't, considering Liberty Christian Academy says they have no record of it. And not only did they say that, they said, we wouldn't have hired him to do this. So not only do they not have record of hiring him, they said they actually wouldn't have. And we have no idea who Captain Anon here actually is. So there you go. There you go. Mignogna knowingly made sexual advances on her. Not actually illegal or even harassment. Then a student and a minor. Again, not a minor. Not a minor. As far as Virginia law in 1989 goes with the age of consent. Let me put all of those disclaimers there. Which I think was 15 years old in 1989. We can say gross all we want now, but that's Virginia in 89. What do you want people to do? And again, no one can actually put Vic in the room with this person or even in the building in Lynchburg, Virginia. All right. Again, citing this anonymous person's tweet. Okay. Sorry. Paragraph 4. Paragraph 4. Mignogna's predatory tendencies are well documented. In fact, there are a number of sites dedicated to sharing stories of Mignogna's inappropriate behavior with women, including the Tumblr blog. The Tumblr blog? The effing Tumblr blog. Dear Vic Mignogna. That's not even him. That's not even him. Footnote 3. Vic Mignogna horrorstories.tumblr.com. Remember, there are a number of sites. Oh, he put there are. My brain assumed he did it wrong. Dedicated to sharing stories. Let's just Pick one of the number of sites. Tumblr blog that can't spell his name. That's your, you know, when you're reaching for the ace and instead you grab syphilis. That's what happened right there. Reaching into the card deck for the ace, and he grabs, I have syphilis now. What? Why would you pick a Tumblr blog if there's a number of sites? Any other site would have been better than that. Carrie Doob. Based on how much social media is being used, do you feel that it being used more in court as evidence in the future? You feel that something like this be a lesson of watch what you post on the internet can have repercussions? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You're not only are you saying it, you're proving that you said it. You're proving that you said it. One of the hardest parts of defamation cases is to prove someone said the defamatory statement. When you put it on Twitter, you prove it. It's you. We can trace your IP. We can subpoena email addresses. We can do everything. Unless it's a burner account made from a VPN with all sorts of, you know, there's ways to obscure it. But I mean, if you're on your main social media accounts, you post something, don't defame someone. Ugh. Okay. Many victim stories continue to pour in through all forms of social media. He's overlooking a big thing, and I'm going to get to it in a minute. This is so high. I feel like I can't even slouch. Why? What is happening? I think I fixed it. It's the gavel, y'all. I use the gavel on the desk, and it moves the camera around. Many victim stories continue to pour in through all forms of social media, detailing times when Mignogna acted inappropriately towards them. Asterisk, actually detailing times when Mignogna, they believe, acted inappropriately towards someone else, or when they heard from their friend about that person's friend who had a bad experience. Actually, that's what's happening here. And they're a little bit overselling it. Remember, this is the factual background, though, so very important. I like the Spike Man says, donated over $200 to the I Stand With Vic campaign. I've talked to him since I was 12, and he was unequivocally the nicest dude I've ever met. Absolutely based. Take my money. Try and keep late August free. I'll email you drinks again on me. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The links, Jason Chi asked if there will be a link to the document. You can find all of these on Kiwi Farms. They're all on Kiwi Farms. Go there. Someone put them up. Okay. Fondling, kissing, groping, etc. without their consent, most while they were still underage. Most fondling, kissing, groping, most while they're still underage. This is flat out defamatory, and Casey Eric is a coward hiding behind the privilege of this answer. What an absolute pile of trash, bordering on unethical, to defame the other party under the shield of the answer, and he knows it. What a scummy thing to do. An absolute scummy thing to do, because most of them were not underage. Most of the people talking about this are not actually making these claims. It's usually some benevolent, white knight, pimple-faced, fatso, arguing on behalf of someone they've never met in the hopes that they'll Snapchat them a picture of their underwear laying on the ground or something like that. It's absolutely disgusting that Casey Eric would stoop to this level because he has lovingly chosen a pile of wonderful individuals to represent. What an absolute disaster this document already is. And we're only on page 2, folks. And include allegations of sexual assault and harassment. In addition, there is a collection of articles, posts, tweets, etc., all detailing the allegations of Vic Mignogna and the sources. They link to the Google document. The Google document. The alleged Google document. And this is going to be how Ron Toye claims there are over 100 women. right? This is going to be their sterling defense. A bunch of uncorroborated, anonymous people posting to a Google document that literally anyone on earth can edit with no verification, no cross-examination, no true identifying information, no authentication that the actual person listed is the author of the comment. This is what they're relying on. How embarrassing. How embarrassing for you, Casey. What on earth are you thinking posting that as your actual evidence and not getting verified statements from everyone on that list? What in God's name are you thinking? You realize not only am I going to just scream from the rooftops how wrong you are, but Ty will rip this apart because you can't authenticate 10% of those statements. My God. On February 19th, 2019, Beth Elderkin of IO9 published an article titled, this is a target for discovery, a potential lawsuit target as well, a potential party. Beth Elderkin, one of anime's biggest voices accused of sexual harassment. Overtly defamatory article that is substantially false and omits relevant facts provided by Vic Mignogna. Omits them flat out. Just ignores the fact that he denied these things. Which details the history of sexual harassment allegations against Mignogna. There's like 9 stories in there, I think, something like that. Not to mention, we can just go ahead and point out that I know someone specifically who gave a story to Beth Elderkin that she flat out omitted because it ran against the narrative. That's going to be a problem for you, Casey. How good is this article if they're flat out omitting stories that go against the narrative? It's going to raise credibility questions with Beth Elderkin of the resolute bastion of journalistic integrity that is IO9. Aren't they a part of Gawker Media? Or is that Polygon? I don't remember. There's going to be credibility questions with all of this. Against Mignogna and how they have led to production companies terminating their ties with him. See the IO9 article that we've all read. Elderkin spoke with more than 25 voice actors, cosplayers, industry professionals, convention employees, and former fans about their experiences with Mignogna. This is like lifted straight out of the article. Not cited to the article, but interestingly, there are not 25 stories in the article. That article describes Mignogna as a 56-year-old man who aggressively hugs, grabs, touches, kisses, and propositions women, often without asking for their consent. Again, these are the same types of defamatory statements that your clients are on trial for. What are you're going to say that they were in an article? Hey, Casey, you dumb moron! The article post dates the statements, you idiot! Toye and Monica's statements were before the article, you dumb sack of potatoes. Careful, JF will hunt you down and marry you. What are you thinking? This article post dates the statements from the complaint. Not a Name says, have some money for the whiskey fund so you don't accidentally turn around and grab syphilis off the barrel. Dustin Fritz Farr says, this smells of throwing the case. There's no way they're this bad unless it's on purpose. I don't know. I'm constantly surprised. Constantly surprised. It happens at panels, in autograph lines, at private events, and behind closed doors. His behavior has become so known in the anime and comic convention communities that it's more than an open secret. Well, it's more than an open secret? What's more than an open secret? What does that even look like? That's an unintelligible sentence. Citing the same thing. Dark1005 says, first super chat. Hey, thanks, buddy. Keep up the awesome work. Worth noting that the anonymous Twitter user that alleged Vic harassed her in 89 is apparently good enough friends with Monica to go out and have lunch. Well, isn't that absolutely flipping glorious? Isn't it just so convenient that she would just happen to be friends with Monica and have lunch with her? I mean, it certainly doesn't lend any credibility to the civil conspiracy angle. Carrie Doob says, here's some more funds to refill your liquor stash. You deserve it for help explaining the law with such passion. Thank you. And then Seymour Butt says, love the rage. Keeps me going, bro. Oh, man, it's going to end me at some point. I'm just going to have a coronary right here on camera. Not good. Paragraph 6, when the sexual harassment allegations became known, the production companies who Mignogna worked for conducted their own investigations. That's plural. When their investigations were concluded, they terminated Mignogna and publicly announced they would no longer work with him. Well, this is getting interesting, but there's a part 2. Paragraph 7. For instance, Rooster Teeth Productions. Hey, Rooster Teeth, if you're still watching, because I know you were, and I bet you are, especially today, if you're still watching, look what just happened. I'm gonna guess, because of this statement, Rooster Teeth was kind of flying below radar. They'd made a good statement about Vic. They hadn't really talked about it. They'd just done their thing. Guess who's probably getting subpoenaed now? I would bet Rooster Teeth. I would bet Rooster Teeth, considering we have allegations from Casey Eric's clients in this answer, one of whom has significant business contacts with Rooster Teeth, being their contractor and possibly their agent, Monica. Now, Rooster Teeth gets put on the subpoena list. And oh, God, I hope Rooster Teeth's investigation comes out, because if you think Funimation's investigation is embarrassing, if you think the Jelly Bean story from Funimation is embarrassing as a basis for a claim of sexual harassment, all I gotta say is it'll be real funny when Rooster Teeth loads up their biggest ammo from that investigation that they did and fires that into reality. Because I have an inkling of what it might be. And if you're looking for, some sort of forced sexual encounter, guess what you're not gonna find in the Rooster Teeth investigation? Guess what you're not gonna find in that investigation? I mean, unless I'm wrong. But I have a feeling I know the one instance that Rooster Teeth investigated. And oh dear God, is it pathetic. One. The Gamer Hero says, Nick, brother, you sure you don't want to just take a breather? We appreciate you, but GD, man, at least add this to the whiskey funds. Oh, I will. No, I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Because I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh in just a minute. I get the rage and the comedy. They balance. Duralex said Lex. You can spend this on the liquor fund on the condition you buy American and you don't waste it on an overpriced bottle of some ornery Scotsman's piss he's had barreled in a barn for the last quarter century. I got plenty of American. In fact, I'll go with some Whistle Pig. This is straight out of Vermont. And we'll use that as the next set of fuel. And the next bottle I buy will be American. How's that? Just for you, buddy. And then Dr. Thomas Raspberry. This is done only because it is the right side of history. This is done only because it was her time to win. It was done because Vic, like all white men, are icons of grab 'em by the opossum Trump. Are you licensed in Iowa? I am not. I am not. But I may know someone who is. If you need a referral. So, Rooster Teeth, I'm betting you can thank your employee, Monica Rial, for adding you to the subpoena list. Possibly adding you straight into the lawsuit. I mean, that would be nice of her, wouldn't it? You had done so well making no statements. No statements on this other than just, we've terminated our relationship with Vic Mignogna. He will no longer be voicing Crow. Will not affect, it's going to say it right here. For instance, Rooster Teeth Production, LLC is an American media and entertainment company headquartered in Austin, Texas, is known for the animated series Ruby, pronounced Ruby. Mignogna had a role in the series as voice actor. On February 5th, 2019, Rooster Teeth severed their business relationship with Mignogna. A post on the Rooster Teeth website stated effective today, Vic Mignogna is no longer a part of the cast of Ruby, and Rooster Teeth is ending all associations with Mignogna. This will not affect the creative content of Ruby. Great statement. You didn't even need to make it, but great statement. Really kept you going. And now your fun little employee, Monica, might have just roped you in. Of course, you had that idiot Shannon McCormick. And who's that other person who's so unimportant I can't remember her name? Brown? God, those idiots are out there trying to get you into the lawsuit. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the party. Let's see. Rooster Teeth's decision followed in the wake of allegations levied against Mignogna regarding kissing and embracing female convention attendees without their consent. Hey, Casey, where did those allegations come from? Want to answer that question, Casey? Oh, this is fun. This paragraph puts the fun in Funimation. Co-defendant, Funimation Productions LLC, also investigated allegations of Mignogna's ongoing inappropriate conduct and accordingly terminated its relationship with Mignogna on or about January 28th, 2019. Accordingly, which means one of Funimation's defenses, let me just put this out there. One of Funimation's defenses was Funimation didn't say that Vic was fired because of the investigation. They said he was fired following an investigation. One of the arguments for Funimation would be that a reasonable person reading that statement would not read it to mean that Vic Mignogna was terminated because of the investigation. Now, that's a bad argument, but it is a defense that Funimation could have used. We did not say that Vic Mignogna was fired because of harassment discovered in an investigation. That's just how it weirdly reads out on Twitter, and we can clarify. Whatever. That was their defense. But now, one of their employees and one of their agents, actually both agents of Funimation, has just gone ahead and laid out that no, ongoing inappropriate conduct, investigated, and accordingly terminated its relationship. Hey, Funimation, I know you're watching too. I know you are, because you're not stupid. You're watching this and I know it grinds your gears a little bit, and I'm sorry, but your agents, Monica and Toye, and I know you guys probably don't think Toye's your agent, but a lot of people did. A lot of people, because he's out there speaking with authority and with confidential. You guys stressed how confidential that investigation was, and then your two little agents, Monica and Ron, flap, 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 can't keep those labia together, can they? Just flapping all over the place, telling all of these people and conventions and everybody they can find about the investigation. All over the place. Only after being sued did Ron ever say, actually, I didn't know what was in the investigation. In fact, leading up until that one tweet, he maintained over and over and over that his significant other was Monica Rial. Of course he knew about the investigation. Of course. Hey, Funimation, maybe you should thank your agents for throwing you right under the bus and eliminating one of your very plausible defenses. These are the people that you are currently aligned with. You might want to reevaluate when you hang out with insane people who strap one of the arms of the straitjacket around you and drag you into the quicksand. You're stuck on the side of abject morons and lunatics, and they're willing to put you in the ground on their behalf, still representing themselves as knowing exactly why you terminated Vic, which leads the reasonable person to one of two conclusions. Either they do know, or they're lying and you're silent about correcting it. And both of those conclusions put you directly involved in this and on the hook for the bill that they can't pay when Vic wins. But you have a way out, don't you? You could settle this and put those no-name independent contractors and fake agents squarely in charge of all of this. All you have to do is find out what Vic wants from you and say, you know what? We don't need to be on the side of these idiots. You can settle this out in a heartbeat, I bet. I can tell you what I would be recommending you do. For the love of God, get out as fast as you can. These people are insane. These people are insane. That'd be my advice to you if I was your attorney. I'm not, as you well know, but you might want to talk to him. You might want to talk to him. You got a new CEO. You're turning things around. You're renegotiating contracts. You got a deal coming through with Hulu. You got another lawsuit to deal with Koji Cast. Do you really want to be saddled to this horse? I guess it's a horse. It's a corpse of a horse. We keep beating it. My God. What with friends? With friends like Monica and Ron, why would Funimation need to be sued by Vic? It's only a matter of time before they're drug into something else. Oh, look at that. They went ahead and cited the tweet. Right there. Bowling that strike. Go ahead and just cite it. Hey, Funimation, you're welcome. Hey, if you guys are ever interested in having an employment screener, call me up. I'll do it for free. I'll tell you what idiots not to hire all day long. Cause I think you might, I have an inkling you might be regretting contracting with these people right about now. Oh my God. On February 11th, 2019, Funimation confirmed on Twitter that they had ended professional ties with Mignogna following an investigation. Right there. There it is again. He said it twice. In addition to Rooster Teeth and Funimation, multiple anime conventions withdrew Mignogna from their guest list. And then there's the FanCon's bio for Vic. That's their source. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I gotta... The Texan 83. The Texan 83, I think, is the next one here. Yeah. Is the one incident Rooster Teeth investigated worse than Gus Sorolla half naked and drunkenly passively assaulting his direct subordinate and other staff on a live stream? Because I can easily link that video, just saying. No, it's nowhere near that bad. It's nowhere near that bad. It's comically benign. I like the Spike Man says, OWO, no proof. Monica, are you gonna destroy Rooster Teeth? Great job, champ. You really did it. IT Weeb says, this is dirty. He's trying to paint Vic as a pedophile before the judge has even really heard the case. Yeah, this should all be struck, to be flat out honest. None of this should be allowed before the judge. Casey isn't dumb. He knows what he's doing. I might have to tune out. This is making me angry. Don't worry, buddy. We can laugh at this in a little bit. Addie M says, hey, Nick, first off, thanks for another stream to help me get through the graveyard shift. Also, by any chance, do you have any contacts in Florida, Miami that deals with housing law? Got a friend in a bind. I want to help them out. Email me. Email me. I might. Morty J says, I feel like I need to shmee to your Captain Hook and stop you from shooting yourself with a flintlock pistol from the stupidity of this incompetence. How embarrassing. And then Scream of Cthulhu says, Nick, my ex wouldn't sign my NDA after our divorce. And after I blocked her on Twitter, she exposed my infidelity. Now my YouTube career is dead and my dick pics are on the internet. Can Casey Eric help me? Yes, he should definitely help you. That would be great. That would be a perfect case for him. Oh my goodness. All right, paragraph 9. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through this. Despite the numerous voice actors and individual victims that have come forward and publicly described their own sexual assault or harassment by Mignogna, Mignogna brings suit against defendants Monica Rial and Jamie Marchi. Yes, you're not actually required to sue everybody or even anybody. You could sue one person out of a whole... If 10,000 people defame you, you can sue one of them. One of them. The court knows how expensive these suits are and that you have to craft it for what you believe to be the maximum causes of damage. And you know that, Casey. You're just grandstanding. For some reason, they have drawn the ire of Mignogna. Probably because they lied directly about him. They were his friends for over a decade and they stabbed him in the back. What reason would... Oh my God. Who has led a public campaign attempting to demonize defendants? No, he has not. You liar. He has said nothing about any of them, and you know it. And you know it. However, Mignogna is well aware that women have been speaking truthfully about this misconduct for decades, and his vendetta against Rial and Marchi is less about their stories than about his notorious history catching up with him. That sentence is frankly stupid. It doesn't even make sense. Let's read it again. However, let's go back one. For some reason, they have drawn the ire of Mignogna, who has led a public campaign attempting to demonize defendants. However, Mignogna is well aware, however is superfluous. Mignogna is well aware that women have been speaking truthfully about his misconduct for decades, and his vendetta against Rial and Marchi is less about their stories than about his notorious history catching up with them. That doesn't make any sense. That sentence doesn't stand in any intelligible universe that I can fathom. What are you even trying to say? I don't know. I can't focus on this. Can't focus on this. A review of Mignogna's petition fails to identify what defamatory or otherwise tortious conduct defendants are liable for. Not true. First of all, it's the tweets, stupid. ITTTS. It's the tweets, stupid. Wait, yeah, it's the tweets, stupid. Yeah. ITTS. For the most part, it complains of likes and retweets. Well, except for the part that complains about their actual statements. I mean, there's just that. There's just the part that doesn't talk about likes and retweets. There's parts about them actually making defamatory claims, you know, of other people's opinions. By the way, retweeting someone else's opinion very well could be defamatory. Absolutely. It's a republication of a defamatory statement. What law school says that republication of a defamatory statement is legal, is not defamatory? I can't think of one. Furthermore, Mignogna does not describe any causal connection between defendant's action and Mignogna's termination from Funimation, Rooster Teeth, or any other company or venue. I believe he does actually just flat out allege that their defamatory statements gave weight to the allegations which led to the termination. I'm pretty sure he says that, but even if he doesn't, they can amend the pleading and add that in. But you know that's what it says, don't you? It is clear that Mignogna has decided to prosecute his grievances in the public forum, despite asking for a protective order. You know, but definitely in a public forum. You know, instead of actually going on Twitter in public and going after people, instead he filed a court case. While your people have been acting specifically in a public forum for the past couple months. However, at the same time, use the courts to stifle. At the same time, use the courts? He hasn't said anything about your clients in public at all. However, at the same time, use the courts to stifle anyone who publicly discusses his long history of sexual assault and harassment. No, that's a contradictory statement. You said that there's tons of people and he singled out 2. Which one is it, dummy? Is it 2 or is it anyone? His long history of sexual assault and harassment. Mignogna's claims have no merit and should be summarily dismissed. Okay. If you want to summarily dismiss them, file a summary judgment motion, file a TCPA for dismissal. Why didn't you do that yet, coward? KL says, just wanted to show some support and contribute to the whiskey fund. Not sure how you can keep any semblance of your sanity after reading some of these tweets. Keep up the good fight. It's tough, buddy. It's tough. It's at this point that I want to re-emphasize something. I want to tell you guys a quick story. When I started talking on YouTube, when I started making public claims or public analyses of different lawsuits, people went to my business page and they, you know, gave me negative reviews. People who are never my clients, who've never seen me in any sort of legal representative capacity, who are in different states, even different countries, came and they negatively reviewed me on Google and Facebook, okay? That is not something that should be done. We can, like, again, I'm not in charge of anyone's actions. I would discourage strongly anyone from doing that to Casey or to Kessler Collins. Casey has written an absolute garbage heap of an answer. However, we have no idea what his overall legal representation is like, and I would like to discourage right now and put flat out in public, I do not encourage anyone to do that because that is absolutely atrocious. No one should have negative reviews from people who have never been engaged in business with them. That's not a thing that should happen. So please do not take anything I say as licensed to do that, because I would never do that to anyone. I wouldn't even negatively review someone that I went against in court, even if they were completely incompetent, and that's happened. I would never, ever do that because they could have a bad day. They could have a bad case. Anything could happen. So I just want to be clear that Just because I'm laughing and ranting at this does not mean squat about his capability as a lawyer or anything like that. It just means that this particular document sucks. It's garbage. Let's not play that game of cowardice that they love to play. All of the weird people, the Wheelers of the world and stuff who like to go ahead and review bomb people. That's not how I get down ever. So this is not in any way a suggestion or endorsement of that. I just want to be very clear about that. Oh, and next is Saradinian says, are they seriously just putting a distortion of your and the rest of I stand with Vic's word in Vic's mouth? Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Kind of looks like it. Special exceptions. Special exceptions. Defendants specially except to section 6A of plaintiff's original petition titled defamation on the basis that it fails to state any cause of action for any allegedly defamatory statement that is time barred because plaintiff's failure to comply with the notice requirements set forth under the Texas Defamation Mitigation Act. This guy is going to try and argue that Ron Toye getting a letter saying to remove the defamatory tweets and then 400 defamatory tweets printed off. He's going to claim that that is not notice under the Texas Defamation Mitigation Act. They gave you 400 tweets to remove, and you're going to say they didn't tell you what to remove. All right, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out. Defendants specially accept section 6B to E of plaintiff's original petition on the grounds that the allegations are so general, vague, and unclear they fail to apprise defendants of what plaintiff expects to prove. This is flailing in the dark. Defendants specially accept to the entirety of plaintiff's original petition. We accept to these things specifically, and then all of this. Regarding the relief sought and ask the court to require plaintiff to specify the maximum amount that plaintiff claims. How do they know? It's not knowable at this time. They haven't... The Texan 83. No, I read your super chat about Gus Sorolla. I did. Let's see. Defendant specially accept section 6B of plaintiff's original petition because plaintiff did not plead all elements of his tortious interference with existing contracts cause of action. Specifically, plaintiff did not include the elements of defendant's knowledge of any alleged contract, the defendants interfered with any alleged contract, the defendants intended to interfere, and defendant's interference was the proximate cause of plaintiff's damages. They don't actually have to. This is notice pleading. They intend to prove this. That's how notice pleading works. Defendants specially accept to section 6C of plaintiff's original petition because plaintiff did not plead all elements of tortious interference. Again, they put you, it's notice pleading. They don't have to prove all of the elements in the notice pleading document, merely that they intend to prove the tortious interference with prospective business relations. And again, if it's not sufficient, they can amend the pleading and it will be, this is something they could cure with an amended pleading. Defendants specially accept to section 6D, did not plead all elements of civil conspiracy allegations. Same thing, same thing. This is pointless. The text in 83, long story short, is no. It's not even as bad as that. Verified denials. Defendants specifically deny plaintiff's allegation that all conditions precedent have been performed or occurred. Doesn't matter. You can't generally specifically deny something. You idiot. You have to specifically deny it. So you have to say what conditions precedent have been met or haven't been met or occurred. You have to do that. You can't specifically generally deny. That is obviously mutually exclusive. It cannot exist. I'm going to specifically generally deny everything. Dorby says they instigated a Funimation investigation, leaked the proceedings with salacious embellishments to get Vic blacklisted, now cite the Funimation tweet that came after their initial defamation as justification for it. Yeah, these people are absolutely insane. They know it. They know. Maybe they're not insane. They know their case is garbage. They know it. I like the Spike Man says Earth 2070, forced breeding, entertainment must is God. Women are obsolete. Artificial wombs are implanted in gay men. Trash economy. Israel straight up wiped off the map. Bye, bye, bye. I don't want that, but probably gonna happen. So there's 2070. A grim prediction of the future from I Like the Spike Man. So here's... Oh, wait. I skipped the general denials. This is the only useful section of the entire document. Pursuant to Rule 92 of the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure, defendants generally deny each and every allegation in the plaintiff's original petition and any amendment thereto and demand strict proof of all such allegations. Yep. There you go. They are literally, I'm 99% sure that they could have put this down as their pleading and it would have been sufficient. I'm 100% sure that they could have put the general denial and then the affirmative defense is down. And that could have been their pleading. But instead, they sat there really going after something for no reason anyone can figure out, right? Okay, so back to the verified denials. They're specifically denying all the general things. Defendants specifically deny that plaintiff complied with the requirements of the Defamation Mitigation Act before filing his lawsuit. Pay attention here. This is going to come into play later. On April 12th, plaintiff mailed a purported request for correction, clarification, or retraction pursuant to Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code, Section 73.052, to defendants. The request referenced only examples of the allegedly defamatory statements beginning not earlier than January 24th for Ronald Toye and February 6th for Monica Rial. Again, note that those are prior. They gave you notice of statements prior to Beth Elderkin's article, you moron. So thanks for putting that out there. And then only examples of the allegedly defamatory statements. All of them are defamatory. Remove all of them. Defendants specifically deny that the request complied with the requirements set forth in Section 73.055, subset D of the Civil Practice and Remedy Code. Plaintiff's request failed to specifically describe all of the allegedly false and defamatory statements and state the time and place of their publication, if known. Did they? Are you saying that there are more defamatory statements than the 400 tweets that Ron got? Instead, plaintiff's request referred to a few examples of statements. A few? A few? Well, that's a laugh. That's a laugh. Anybody, last time you guys got a ream of paper and called it a few, when was that? Has that ever happened to you? Can you imagine, like, the infomercial version of that? Has this ever happened to you? Huh. Ugh. I got a few examples. Oh my goodness. Defendants specifically denied that plaintiff's request was served on defendants within 90 days after learning of the publication of the alleged defamatory statement, thereby precluding plaintiff from recovering any exemplary damages. Now notice. I'm going to give him. On April 12th, plaintiff mailed a request for correction. So they did that. Going back not earlier than January 24th. Now, I'm not a math major. I have a Juris Doctor. Certainly the opposite of a mathematics degree. But I'm pretty sure 90 days from January 24th is somewhere around April 21st. Maybe 23rd because of February. Right? Like, I'm pretty sure it's right about April 24th. And then you said they mailed it on April 12th. How is that not within 90 days. And it's not 90 days of publication, it's 90 days of learning of the publication. How on earth are you going to argue that? You put it in the document. I don't know how to deal. I don't deal with stupid people. Okay, I'm too old for it. The only time I deal with stupid people are when I'm forced to. What? You put it in the document. It's like 80 days. 78? Again, I'm not even a math. Can anyone in the chat get what the date is? It 70? It must be 79 days. 79 days. If April 23rd is supposed to be the 90th day, then it's 79 days. And that's from publication. That's not from learning about it. We don't know when Vic learned about it. Oh my God. Affirmative defenses. Now's where the arguments really take off. This is where they'll get him. Got Andy M says, if 400 is a few, then how many did Ron actually tweet? Over 9,000? Maybe. Lol. Now, let me readdress this in case you missed a super chat earlier. You are allowed to make contradictory statements in your pleading. Typically, you're supposed to bring all available defenses in your pleading. All of them. Even if they're contradictory to another defense. Because just because you plead both of them doesn't mean they're both true. People plead false things all the time, and that's kind of okay. As long as they're not attempting to mislead the court on a factual detail. They're just saying, we deny this. If everybody who denied what they did got put up for perjury, everyone would be in prison who's ever been in a lawsuit and lost. So we can't look at pleadings as like this blanket bastion of truth. It's not real. But as long as you're not specifically misleading the court on a factual matter and you're just issuing up defenses, they can be contradictory. That's okay. So many of these are contradictory. All of them are bad. Dorby says, February is a shorter month, not a longer one. How embarrassing for you. I know. That's what I said. Are you talking about someone else? I know it's a shorter month. That's why it was so close to April 24th being the 90th day. Anyway, affirmative defenses. This is paragraph 23 for those of you listening at home. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because plaintiff claims for defamation are barred by the 1-year statute of limitations set forth in Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code, section 16.002A. Now, I have to look this up. Hold on. And Remedies Code 16.002. Hold on. Okay, 1-year limitations period. A person must bring suit for malicious prosecution, libel, slander, or breach of promise of marriage not later than 1 year after the day the cause of action accrues. Cause of action tends to accrue when the damage from the defamatory statement is felt. That would be the day Vic was fired or dropped from cons. Well, that's easy enough. Oh my God. So 1-year statute of limitations is correct. However, We're pretty well within that 1 year. I'm just saying, considering all this stuff happened in late January, early February of this year. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because plaintiff's own acts or omissions proximately caused or contributed to plaintiff's injuries. Nope. No. So what they're saying is, well, Vic actually did these things. Our statements meant nothing. That is brazenly untrue according to your own answer, where you state that this has been going on for decades. If Vic's actions were the proximate cause, presumably Vic would have been removed decades ago. So that affirmative defense is going to fail. By your own pleading. Oh my goodness. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because defendants' allegedly defamatory statements were substantially true. This is the only good defense. If they're actually true. Of course, they're going to have to prove it. Blaine 20 says, I couldn't be a judge reading this document. I'd have thrown the nearest heavy book at Casey by now. Lots of heavy books near any judge. They just hover around. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because plaintiff consented to and or published the allegedly defamatory statements by discussing them in public and on social media outlets. No, he didn't. Where did Vic publish the statements that you guys made? Not just general statements. First of all, Vic made some public general apologies in case anyone had ever been offended by something. That is not, I repeat, not an admission of guilt. Now, I would never, ever, ever advise a client to make that statement, but Vic isn't my client. Either way, what he did say was not an admission and certainly not a publication. You idiot. Publication of statements have to be the actual statement made by someone else. He would have to publish that statement, but he didn't. Your people did. That would be like them saying something to him and him going and publishing what they said and said, they defamed me by saying this to me. That's a different thing. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because plaintiff previously diminished reputation. What previously diminished reputation? Last year he had a full con schedule, and he had a full con schedule this year, you twat. He got uninvited after your client's noise making. How hard is this for you? I know you can't do basic addition or subtraction, so I'm guessing that just breathing is difficult. How hard is this for you? His reputation was not diminished until false statements by your client in an investigation and then spread to conventions about that investigation, of which they have no details according to their now statements. Good job telling them to lie about that. Or either that or they're admitting to lying before. Good job. Either they're lying now or they were lying then. Perfect. Well done, Casey. Your clients made statements and then his reputation was demolished. Prior to their flapping mouths, he still had a full year convention schedule. Good luck proving that affirmative defense. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff on the grounds that they were induced and provoked to make the statements by the wrongful and malicious acts of plaintiff. How were they provoked or induced? He didn't do anything to them to make those statements. They chose to make them. In fact, I'm pretty sure Monica's statement specifically, and Marchi's statement, specifically reference other people on Twitter talking about it, not Vic, right? They only published statements that they were responding to other people. So Vic didn't induce anything. By their own words. So that affirmative defense is garbage. Am I being too loud? Hold on. I think one of my cameras picked me up making noise. Sorry. I'm yelling so loud that the vault can't contain my anger. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff pursuant to the failure of publication doctrine, providing that a defamatory statement is not published if it is made to a person who knows the statement is untrue. Oh, so everybody knew it was a lie then. That's a strong argument. That's a strong argument. You know what? They knew I was lying when I said it, so therefore, that one's gonna go far. Cue the offspring. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because at the time the alleged defamatory statement set forth in plaintiff's petition, defendants had good reason to believe and did believe that on certain dates and times and at various other times before and after, plaintiff sexually harassed and or sexually assaulted the women identified in the Funimation investigation. You know what's in the Funimation investigation, you dope. Those aren't even sexual harassment or assault claims. In addition to third parties who have been victims of plaintiff sexual harassment and sexual assaults, accordingly, the words defendants spoke concerning plaintiff were and are true, or in the alternative, are or were substantially true. I knew them to be true. Prove it. Prove it. That's again, that truth defense is going to be real pesky when they have to actually put up something that says it's true. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because the allegedly defamatory statements were not made with actual malice. I mean, except for the overwhelming amount of evidence to the contrary. Good luck with that one, champ. Defendants are not liable to the plaintiff to the extent the statements alleged in plaintiff's petition were published by a third party. As such, the statements were allegations made by a third party and regarded a matter of public concern. Defendants accurately reported these allegations made by the third party. Nope. Here's the thing. If there's a defamatory statement and you repeat the defamatory statement, guess what? You are, especially if you do it with malice, you are defaming someone. Just again. It doesn't... Well, they defame them. Now I can say it. Nope. Nope. And here's the funny thing, kids. Monica and Ron have claimed specifically to know Vic for years. Both of them, even though Ron's basically lying about that. They both claim to know Vic, to be friends with Vic, which means they have reason to know that these statements are either false or true. So they can't go ahead and claim, well, they said it, I had to repeat it. Because they would know. They know him. He's been their friend. They've said it over and over and over again. They have reason to know whether or not the statements are true. And they have methods to discern whether or not they're true or false. Reasonably. Therefore, their statements and their restatements of other people's statements are made with knowledge of the falsity. Easily. Easily. These aren't rando people. Monica is his friend of 2 decades. Ron Toye pretended to know Vic for a long time. I don't know how else to say it. Obviously lying. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff pursuant to the fair comment doctrine. I mean, come on. He's just throwing stuff out there right now. Basically saying that this is a matter of public concern and they get the right to comment on it. Nope, you don't get the right to comment on something to someone's detriment if it's false and you have reason to know about it. That's actual malice and you're still done. Scream of Cthulhu says Casey's pleading doesn't appear to take into account the possibility of evidence from Kamea Khan that proves his clients are liable. What are the odds he's aware? He knows they're aware. or he's aware. Of course he knows what Monica and Ron sent to Kamea Khan in text. If he doesn't, he's an idiot. If he doesn't, he's an idiot. I'm getting calls for a super chat break. Just a second. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff pursuant to the invited defamation doctrine, and that plaintiff has demanded defendants provide proof to substantiate the allegations of sexual harassment and sexual assault. Defendant's response to plaintiff's repeated demands is therefore not defamation. Find one demand for it from the plaintiff to the defendants. Plaintiff's been quiet on social media. Are you trying to imply that the plaintiff is somehow asking through third parties? I don't think third parties have ever had any tie to the plaintiff. Pretty sure all of the third parties out there are acting against the plaintiff's wishes. Because he over and over says, please be kind, don't do this, don't talk about this stuff. I know I am. I know that Vic would not endorse my activity, mainly because I'll call Ron a cuck and I'll call Monica a harlot. How's that? How's that? Is that inflammatory? That goes against Vic's express wishes. They're both ugly, horrific little goblins that are disgusting liars who want to ruin someone's career over pretend. How's that? How's that? That's not the light and cheerfulness that Vic has asked for. He certainly wouldn't endorse that statement. And he's never asked anyone for proof. As Cybertaz says, Casey sounds like one of those greasy, slick back-haired, cheap suit wearing divorce lawyers. His filing is making me donate another $50 to the GoFundMe. If a homeless writer can donate $100, why can't other people? For justice. There you go. There you go. We've got, I'm going to finish this page and then we'll do a super chat break for a few minutes. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because any alleged defamatory statements were statements of opinion. I mean, despite the fact that they contain factual allegations. Again, he's throwing everything at the wall. Everything is being thrown at the wall here. Defendants are not liable in that some or all of the alleged defamatory statements were non-literal hyperbole. Hundreds of women, right? Right? Defendants are not liable to plaintiff in that some or all of the alleged defamatory statements were meant as parody or satire. Oh, just kidding, guys. Just kidding. It was all parody and satire. You know what? Vic should probably... He was fired because of your parody and satire. But it's fine, though, right? Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because plaintiff's claims for TI with contracts... because they are barred by the 2-year statute of limitations. I mean, the contracts were not even made 2 years ago. They didn't exist. How could they? Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because plaintiff does not identify a valid contract that was subject of any alleged interference. He doesn't have to. It's specific cons that are all mentioned in the complaint have contracts, all of them. And you know they do. And so did your clients, because your client, one of your clients is in the business and the other is a hanger-on who pretends to be in the business. Finally, 40, defendants are not liable to plaintiff because plaintiff waived or otherwise forfeited any contractual rights he claims to have had. How? How would that happen? Okay, let's go back to the super chat beginning, and I'm gonna do a super chat break for a little bit here, and then we'll get back to the document. Omni Shambles says, "Why are you avoiding your fan mail, Miss Marchi? We've tried to get it to you 5 times now. SMH." You're really going to do your fans dirty like that, Jamie? We got Angel Rin 89 who says, "Ron, we smile, have smile, nothing smile, 2 smile, hide smile." Jamie has left the chat. Brett Wyatt says, I'm not surprised by Monica, Ron, or Marchi. I'm more surprised by Casey's actions so far. What's his play here? What's his play is that he has no play, and he knows it. He knows he's got no play, so he's throwing the kitchen sink at the wall, praying to God something sticks and that they find something in Discovery. Trey Naylor, thanks for the donation. And then it says, can you briefly explain Scalia's GPS ruling again? No, not here. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't have time for that. I can send me an email and I can send it to you. Angelo Hart, thanks for the donations. Dragon's Advocate says, get that green screen going, mate. It's not for you. It's for the memes. No. Octorian says, it's just a prank, bro. Jamie Marchi. Weefex says, Leighton gayer than almonds? Not possible. Not possible. Lil Poo Poos says, tarde y más puto. Leighton gay in Spanish. Thank you. Thank you. William Amiat says, talk to me, Goose. I need the boost. Cocky Onside says, on time and trisexual. These Hands says, the only good thing about Mars Girl's mother no longer being with us is that Mars Girl can't disappoint both her parents. Oh, wow. Maria Ruiz, thank you for the donation. Weefex says, still not worse than Landui. Never. Getting close. Maria Ruiz, thanks again. Christopher Martin, thank you for the donation. Oni Renja says, hey, Nick, can I get a shout out for my father who passed today? Oh, of course, man. Oni Renja, my condolences to you. Very sorry to hear about your father. And peace to your family and friends. May you celebrate his life with good memories. And for the next short while, forget the things that made him human and only remember him as the superhuman father that he could be. Hopefully that is sufficient. A2P says, can I get a malice B word from you? Ron Toye smile. No, I'm calming down too much. Alex P 10v2 says, it's 5 a.m. here. I'm sufficiently still intoxicated. Yay for being a student. Looking forward to an amazing stream. These Hands says, I've never made but one prayer to God, a very short one. Oh Lord, make my enemies ridiculous, and God granted it. Andrew Tomashaka says, you were in Miami and didn't get a sunburn? I did a little bit actually on this shoulder, but I stayed out of the sun most of the time. Okashi American says, hey, love you, Nick. I'm a Ruby fan and protest Rooster Teeth on Twitter. Tag Rooster Teeth in tweets, post on Rooster Teeth and RTX's page, promote boycotting them, and use a boycott Rooster Teeth hashtag. Can they pull an anime Matsuri on me? Only if you're actually going out and trying to interfere with their contracts. That's really different. That's really, really different. If you're just boycotting them in public, you can do that. Anime Matsuri or boycott Matsuri is stepping over the line by brigading and organizing efforts to interfere with established contracts by contacting the people who have the contracts and trying to get them to breach. That's a different thing. Let's see. JT Plays. Jamie Marchi says, hiding from the law, ordering rugs, and hiding from the law. Shanksy B says, someone donate $50 for Nick's Fem SC filter pick. Okay. Daniel Dawson says, some of the pleadings in this response are so bad, I think I can confidently say it's garbage despite not being a lawyer myself. Denku123H says, Nick, I couldn't even read Rial and Toye's answer. My brain couldn't handle it. Cass Michael says, Soph got her uploading disabled. Legal recourse? Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot to that. Keldo the Horse says, Shane deleted his Twitter. What a loser. I don't think so. I'm betting Shane just blocked you. And a whole bunch of other people. But his Twitter was up there. I guess I could check. Shane. It looks like it's still there. No, it's still there. Why'd you make me look at Shane's Twitter line? Oh, guys, I'm having an aneurysm right now. Ugh. What a disgrace of a human being Shane is. Ew. Let's see. Turbo Freak says, dang, so close. That moment when you almost call the default judgment and it almost comes true. Talbot Link says, win by default is still a win. That is true. That is true. Carlton Box says, hello, Rackets. Me and my dad are watching you to cap off our shared birthday. Happy birthday, guys. Let the insanity and overall boobery of Moronica, and Super Lawyer begin. Dragonfist 900 says, is Kick Vic drama making me run out of popcorn? Me too, buddy. Andrew Polonenko says, please update the podcast feed. I run a small business and have a new family. Podcasts are the only way I can consume your content. Please help me out. Yes, sorry. I'm way behind because there's a glitch on one of the podcasts. The next one in line, the download is bugged, and I don't have the local file on this computer because I was mobile. So I just have to plug it in and get it uploaded on a different machine. I'll try and do that tonight. Sorry about that. Razia says, take my free YouTube Red money. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Kyle, thanks for the donation. The Crow 751 says, where can I find the documents? Kiwi Farms. Thanks again, Kyle. Alex P 10v2 says, hey man, don't diss the rule of dibs. Rule of dibs is a very important rule. Very, very important rule. Sean Burgess says, the only thing that can save these guys if they bring in Ashton Kutcher to court and tell Vic, you just got punked. Yeah, pretty much. Now notice Shane and the other scum that are out on Twitter, and you know the orca's name. They block all of you. You know they don't ever block is me. Despite me being mean to all of them over and pointing out how effing stupid all of them are over and over and over again, they don't block me because they think they can get some sort of clout out of tweeting to me. How sad for them. Well, they will repeatedly say I'm insignificant and wrong. They will constantly retweet stuff that I put out, comment about it, and post about me. Really, really shameful. But, you know, it's all for the lulz. All for the lulz. Right, let me do a couple more. Let me do a couple more here. Andrew War Snowboard says, I call dibs on the 500 that Shame owes Guns Beer Freedom. Oh, poor Guns Beer Freedom. You just took his money. Joe Carroll says, the things we said were all true, but not true. Spike Strat 13 says, Casey Eric's signature looks like Casey Cuck. Ryan Case says, don't you know that Rooster Teeth dropped Vic out of the goodness of their heart? Not because of Chris Sabat, Monica Rial, who both also VA at Rooster Teeth, and Ron Toye alongside Rooster Teeth's growing liberal morals? Of course, they just did it on their own. Mr. Snuffles says, Rule 151D of the Texas Penal Code, he who smelt it dealt it. That should be a rule. Cloudfire 181 says, wow, Soye, you found someone more soy-filled and beta than yourself. Also, who gets to Minecraft Casey first? The beard or the judge who Casey is lying to in this document? Why go with this beta when they could go with the shoe eater? Man. And did you see the shoe eater flipping out on Twitter, explaining all of this stuff? God, he's so good at it. He's so good at it. Let's see. Xvarna says, I never realized Toye and Rial's lawyer was such a comedian. If only it was even remotely intentional on his part. Good to have you back, Nick. It's good to be back. James Karg says, it's alarming how easily these things can be abused or outright avoided. How would you change parts of this process, if any? If you're talking about the service process, I wouldn't change it at all. It's equipped to deal with people like her. Eventually, you can publish it in a newspaper. Or you could publish it by Twitter in some cases. So, Harbinger 345 says, hold up, is Nick wearing pants? Nick has legs? I'm wearing shorts, to be fair. Rolana 1 read that one. Pro Farah, thank you for the donation. These hands says Nick flexing on us with a $600 bottle of whiskey. It was a very special occasion bottle of whiskey. I do not regularly spend $600 on bottles of whiskey. I would love to, but I'm not that crazy. DLJ Screwjob. This is the last one I'll read for a minute. It says, how can Kick Vic still defend these people? Don't know. Don't know how they ever thought they could. All right. Let's move along. 41. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because plaintiff's claims for TI with a contract is barred by the 2-year statute of limitations. Didn't you just say that? Yep. There. They just said it twice. Good job. They're both wrong. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff because plaintiff's own acts or omissions proximately caused or contributed to plaintiff's injury. They clearly didn't. Based on your own factual history, they clearly couldn't have. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff for the amount of damages claimed because plaintiff did not mitigate his damages. How? Well, actually, plaintiff may have mitigated his damages because he got invited to other cons. But plaintiff can't mitigate damages because he's been fired. Blink, 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 blink. You shouldn't fire me all the way. I need to mitigate these damages. Defendants are not liable to plaintiff for conspiracy because the underlying claims are without merit. Oh, that's not an affirmative. It's not an affirmative defense. If defendants are found liable for damages, defendants intends, good job there, to seek a reduction of damages under the proportionate responsibility statute, including any credits for a settling person. You're really hoping someone settles, I suppose. Plaintiff is not entitled to punitive damages in regard to any defamation claim which plaintiff failed to timely serve a request for correction, retraction, or clarification 90 days after learning of the publication. You've already admitted that he did, you idiot. If defendants are found liable for exemplary damages, those damages must be capped under the Texas Damages Act, the Due Process Clause of the U.S. Constitution, due course of law provisions of the Texas Constitution. Jury demand. Defendants demand a jury trial and tender the appropriate fee with this answer. Request for disclosure. Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 194. Defendants request that plaintiffs disclose within 30 days of the service of this request information or material described in Rule 194.2. I'm not going to read through all of that. You can actually Google that. Just do Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 194.2. But it's basically something called required disclosures. And it's something that everybody asks for in virtually every lawsuit. So they went ahead and just put a list and you know, you go ahead and produce that stuff to the other party. It's a required disclosure. So, you know, they just now have 30 days to do their required disclosure from this service date. So there you go. Objection to associate judge. Defendants object to the referral of this case to an associate judge for hearing a trial on the merits or presiding at a jury trial. So they want a full judge, not an associate judge. And then that plaintiff takes nothing and for all and such other further relief which defendants are entitled. Casey Eric. There we go. All right. That is the documents. Them's the documents, y'all. Them's the documents. I suppose I should finish up Super Chats and call this a stream. This is an embarrassing display. Like, had Casey missed the deadline for filing, that would have been embarrassing. But it is Mother's Day. They get an oopsie for a gimme. They could have had a technical problem. They could have had any number of things. Could have been sick. Could have had a paralegal out. Anything could have happened to cause a delay, to miss a default judgment, or to miss their answer deadline. Would have laughed at them. Judge probably wouldn't have granted it. But this is maybe worse. This is a terrible answer. This is an answer you write when you have nothing. Nothing. Remember, all they have to do is produce any of the evidence to prove that the statements are true. That's it. Just produce the truth of the statements. Could have done it in the answer. They know all the defamatory claims. They've all been sent to Ron Toye and his lawyer, Casey. Casey got all these. Monica Rial's stuff has been sent. They know. all they have to do is prove them true. That's it. That gets rid of all the defamation claims. Put out your list of 100 women, right? Put out your list of dozens of women or 30 women or however many women. Put it out. You said all these things. You clearly know it. That's all they had to do. Didn't do it. Why not? Why instead write this drivel? Write a fact section that is flat out slander. It is a libel, I guess. It is flat out libelous garbage. Completely intended to defame Vic in the public eye, possibly prejudice him towards the court by calling him a pedophile. Just barely hiding behind that privileged answer. Calling him a child molester and harasser. Absolutely horrifying that these people would do that. But that's what they do, right? They've been doing it for a long time now. Why would we be surprised? But Casey should not be supporting this. Let me tell you guys a secret about lawyers. Lawyers are charged to zealously represent their clients in the best way that they know possible. If the best way to represent your clients that you know possible is to allow them to continue to defame someone, then apparently that's what Casey Eric will do. That's not unethical. It's skeezy or whatever, or sleazy. What? I don't know, scummy, sleazy, skeezy, whatever word you want. But it's technically within his role as advocate, right? To zealously push forth the interests of his client. Sometimes that involves getting your hands a little dirty. It's not the strategy I would go with, but look at it. It's right in front of you. Defame Vic in public as much as possible. That's their maximum chance. That is what Casey Eric has calculated. This is maybe the worst. Super lawyer Casey Eric has calculated that the best way to represent Monica Rial and Ron Toye is to attempt to defame Vic in public. That's their best shot. That is absolutely embarrassing. And there's nothing else you can say about it. So there you go. All right, let's hit these chats. Rex and Fix, thanks for the donations. Karite Sumitai says, Elite Gay Ops. That's a shirt if I've ever heard of one. Also, I'm going to an anime con this weekend. What's a good Japanese whiskey you'd recommend? Hibiki Suntory whiskey is great. The Nika coffee malt is also great. No One Important says, sweet, sweet justice. Oh, the karma. It's so tasty. 93 TJ says, will the 31st hearing be open to the public? Almost guaranteed, yes. Robot Dumbo says, cheers from a lawyer in a different time zone. Your live streams make lunchtime entertaining. Thanks a lot, Nick. Hey, you're welcome, buddy. Joe Carroll says, using an internet forum where a user claimed Vic dream raped her as evidence is so genius. I don't know why I didn't think of it first. Quantum Video says, thanks for always being so entertaining. Please mention Quantum Videos. Lots of great video game, faith-based content. You are better than TV. Thank you. No One Important says, play the clip of Nick saying process serving dodging is a thing of the past. Nobody does it nowadays. E-Man to Manny, thank you for the donation. Andrew Moore Snowboard says, will the Imperial Marquis be playing in court? No. Ethan Amante, thanks for the donations. The Strix says, thank you for all you do. My first super chat ever. Hey, thanks, buddy. Keep up what you are doing. I will. Sabatnik says, just checking how super chat works. Just like that. Thank you. Tonberry Queen says, run SJW, run SJW, run. Or run SJW, run, CSJW, run. Let's see. Shuru says, never apologize for a stream going long. Like whiskey, moments like this should be savored and enjoyed. Mercenary X says, hey, Nick, I need you to check for other signs of Eat of the Apocalypse or God being extremely playful today. I just went to see the Pokemon movie this week and it was good. No. Something is going on this year. Please pray we just get a good video game movie. I mean, I don't believe you. Daniel Doucet says, hey, Nick, just wanted to say that hi. I've been watching your streams for a while from Montreal, Canada. Very entertaining and informative. Keep up the great work. Hey, thanks, buddy. Thanks. E-Man to Manny says, August on the mind can be the Loot Crate microtransactions discussion date. There you go. The Gamer Hero says, I tweeted Jamie about it, but I highly doubt she'll respond. Might even block me or get me banned for showing proof. Lol. Oh, no. Cynic in Chief says, August on your mind equals you going to Bubba Fest? Ooh, that's a good question. I'm trying to organize it. I'm making every effort I can to get to Bubba Fest. Brian Goza says, will this case outcome set a major precedent? Probably not, unless it gets appealed. Then I guess it could. But it doesn't need to. The law is actually perfectly situated to handle this case already. Ink Penification says, Mandar wants to sue NASA, i.e. Flat Earther. Oh, God. Matt Field says, the guy's a Flat Earther and wants to sue NASA, lol. I guess we'll make him prove it, right? Oh, God. Eyes of the Wolf 101 says, he will find you and we will serve you. We will find you and we will serve you. Trivia Aficionado says, hey, Nick, tried to justice chat, wouldn't work. Heart. Well, that sucks. Timothy Reaper says, the gayest of ops are performed by the Rainbow Beret per aperior oppressi. There you go. Blink Your Eyes 1400 says, how's the Cut Commander case going? I'm waiting. They had 15 days from the day we sent the letter to go ahead and respond. I realize now that you guys have not seen the letter, so I'll try and do that on a stream this week and show you guys what's in it. Stephen Birch is representing me in that, and we've given them 15 days to respond. I think they're about 5 days into that, but I gotta check. TLJ Screwjob says, so with them throwing Rooster Teeth under the bus, what are the odds that Ty brings up the please don't hire Vic, even though he was just announced as Crow thread back in 2016, because someone who may not work there anymore had to know as the thread was locked? I don't know. Holden Caulfield says, thanks, Nick, for noticing my tweet earlier today. Literally the highlight of my day. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. Vertica Frostscale says, say this goes all green all the way. How this affect the Me Too movement remains to be seen. They're going to hate it. They're going to hate it for sure. TLJ Screwjob says, snippet from the opening post. I and many other people I know don't want this pedophile, homophobe, and anti-Semitist at Rooster Teeth, or even in the vicinity of Rooster Teeth. Maybe some of what Ty meant by, quote, some people have been after Vic for 6-7 years. Maybe. Cerulean Voice says, Jamie making sure her carpet matched her blinds. Come on. Come on. Bagel Goose says, hey, Keck, stop. Or, well, someone. This is anonymous. Might have been Bagel Goose. Hey, Keck, stop playing Rage 2 and pay attention to Nick. Yeah, Keck. Bowsette says, Nick is best Vegeta. Changed my mind. Trash Queen and King says, join the Nick Rekieta Lawsplaining Appreciation and Discussion Army Facebook group. Made dank Ty Beard and Marchi meme. Thank you. Moist John. Jesus, Nick, was 1,700 likes not enough? Do you need to gain another 800 likes in under a minute? It always helps. It also really does help. Kyle Fairchild says, you are killing it, Nick Rekieta. Love it. And it's a subject most people have no clue about, but yet have to care about. DCV Titan says, what's worse, Twilight Sparkly vampires or new World of Darkness vampires that are gay Islamic SJWs? Can't they both be the worst? John Sargent says, can the judge issue a takedown order of Pull? I don't see why he would. Probably not. They could maybe demand that some specific posts be taken down, but only if they could prove they were made by parties of the suit. Knight of OPEC says, Casey, Your Honor, pretty ugly little liars said Vic is a bad man. Judge said, liars said that? Casey, no, Your Honor, they're telling the truth. Judge, now with eyebrows cocked incredulously, you sure about that? Ricing Ground 3 says, is it possible to facepalm even harder than this? No. Zorindu says, one more time, lads. Get woke, go broke. Harbinger 345 says, are we also going to bring up the dream assault equals real assault comment on Pull? Just imagine a judge reading that as evidence. Gay and Still at Large says, finishing off my bottle of the Duke. Thanks, Beard. Enjoying this law rage. Take my doubloons, my man. Happily. Happily. Kellen Steck, thank you for the donation. Oh, and by the way, let me just briefly address something. Apparently, I got called out by Perfection. Perfection says I should not take super chat money because reasons. So, but Perfection thinks that monetizing through ads are perfect. That's fine. Just not super chats that other people do. Perfection monetizing through ads, that's fine because that puts his videos higher up on the algorithm and that's why he does it. So there's that, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what Perfection's problem is. I mean, I could list a few, but I'm not gonna. But Perfection, Pumpkin, Sweetie, Honey Bear. If you wanted me on your show so bad, you could have just emailed me, you pussy. Just ask. I go on other people's shows frequently, whenever I have time. Just ask. God, what a baby. All right. Kellen Stack, thanks for the donation. TLJ Screwjob says, maybe Casey's being paid per word. Blink Your Eyes 1400 says, would this hurt Casey's reputation as a lawyer? I mean, I don't know. Probably not. Mr. Inflammable says, I found a tweet with a meme-worthy picture of Jamie. Do you or anybody else in this chat want to see it? I mean, that's up to the chat. TSZ Quan Chuk says, it's over 9,000. Gravy Donson says, love what you do, Nick. Hope to see you at Anime Matsuri. Hopefully I'll have my Captain Harlock cosplay ready by then. Oh, that'd be awesome. Strange Wigglypuff says, this stream made my autism terminal. Thanks, Nick. Sorry, friend. Sorry, friend. Kaki Onsai says, these idiots seriously need to have some restorative justice. Quote, Red Foreman, yes. Because if you don't, furious. Foots in asses, fear the beard. Rolano 1 says, does the judge have to read this trash or could he throw it out? The judge will likely ignore the fact section and just get down to the actual pleadings, which are the defenses and the denials. Gabriel Allen said, could she be served on her social media account if the judge permits it? It's been done. It's rare, but it's been done. Strange Wigglypuff says, the Tumblr blog. Aaron Roberts, thank you for the donation. Chris Nemo says, is Casey tanking their case intentionally? No, I think he's trying his hardest. Not a name. Wait, I read that one. Sorry. TLJ Screwjob says, say funny, and I pray Rooster Teeth gets brought in as well. Settles. How, what words, even possible to get Vic rehires and get it to stick? Yeah, sure. I remember you saying that if they don't, then even if he wins, Vic can't get his jobs back. Also, Landwe, thanks Casey, Kiwi Farms, or Casey. Still going with Casey at this point. You know, here's the thing. If Funimation or Rooster Teeth were to, like, retract their statements or clarify that they didn't actually fire Vic because of sexual assault allegations or something like that, that would go a long way. I mean, he might not get his old jobs back, but it would be less damaging for future things, and it would give less ammo to the people who are really relying on the fact that Funimation fired him to keep him away from cons. Same with Rooster Teeth, right? Keck7 Go says, Casey is just laying down the professional lawyer persona on the beard. Don't think he can handle an actual competent person. I mean, he's friends with a racket, so Pull is full of hot takes tonight, my friend. I suggest you cool down before reading it. Oh, I'm not reading Pull tonight. I might have to do a full stream on that one. Sorodinian says, are they just responding to your words, not Vic's? Kind of looks like it. Talbot Link says, part of me hopes some of these papers are fraudulently filed by someone with Photoshop skills to save on lawyer fees. More fun that way. Gong Shubin, thanks for the donation. Weebo Jones says, guys, please donate to help Nick soundproof his home office. Oh, I do need to put up some sound absorbing materials. Deep fried lettuce says maybe the facts were so poorly written because Casey didn't get anything else to work with. He doesn't need a fact statement though. That's just grandstanding. Blink Your Eyes 1400 says, can Casey find himself as a defendant himself if he keeps this up? I don't know if he'd be a defendant. I don't know. I mean, probably not, because he could be sanctioned technically. Technically could be sanctioned for some of his activity, potentially. I'm not saying he definitely can be. But, you know, if he keeps this up and it's just defaming Vic in the documents, very possibly could be, you know, a request for sanctions could come out. The discovery abuse stuff is potentially sanctionable and stuff like that. Being a defendant's a stretch. That guy says, please grow a beard like Duck Dynasty. Oh man, I don't know about that. Abby Doobie, thank you for the donations. Joshua Dunbar says, imagine using defamatory comments as your defense without providing any evidence they were true. I mean, yeah, that's a good one. TLJ Screwjob says, I honestly feel bad for the daughter of that 1989 lady. She even defended her mom against people saying she was lying. How would you even come to the terms of the fact that your parent ruined someone else's life for seemingly no reason? Where Tiger Ray says, does the fact that Casey mentioned Beth in this court document pretty much mean that Beth is going to get hailed into court either by Casey to corroborate or by Ty just to counter this claim? Could Casey have inadvertently triggered a suit against Beth? I don't know about a suit necessarily against Beth, but certainly puts her on the block. I mean, they might want to bring her in. Then, of course, Ty gets to cross-examine her, so that would be fun. That would be fun. L says, what's your favorite whiskey, Nick? Probably, even though they're a bunch of cucks, it's probably still Lagavulin 16. Just a solid choice. Solid choice. But the heavily peated Glenlivet Nadura is a good counterbalance. And the Dalmore cigar malt is really good. But that Lagavulin 16 is right in a good price point for good scotch. Broken Console Studio says, to chicken something, raises sword, memes at the ready, fire. There you go. Ashley McGuire says, the MoRon deposition was scheduled on my birthday tomorrow. Would have been a great present. Also, you're a very handsome white man coming from a black woman. Hey, thank you. By the way, have you ever had jungle fever? No. I'm a one-woman man, sorry. Verithica Frostscale says, eating jelly beans. Totally forgot about the jelly bean story and just about choked. Oh no, those are salt jelly beans. You can't do that. Evelyn Corvin says, first super chat. So glad I work midnights to always see these streams. I watch you on 1.5 to 1.75 speed to catch up. You're somehow even funnier. Oh, thanks. HR Hawken says, man, today I learned that pull wasn't pull. The more you know. I was so confused. Yeah, it's such an annoying thing to say pretty ugly little liars every time. As Austro-Hungarian Strat says, I can only imagine Casey is so desperate to not defend this in court. He's throwing everything he can at the wall, hoping something sticks. Crossray says, ever wonder why the president of Rooster Teeth resigned? Sounds like someone ran before Gunn could fire at him. Possibly. McKinney90 says, so Jamie Marchi is dodging papers like Wesley Snipes? Forever229 says, where's that great evidence they've been holding on to? They just can't let it go yet. It's the big reveal. That's how lawsuits work, apparently. UM536vid says, Casey shouldn't cite the circular rumor mill. The studios cite VAs. VAs cite articles. The articles cite studios. Eventually, the legal system will ask you to actually substantiate literally anything. That's true. You're going to have to back it up. Fenrir the Wolf says, for the whiskey fund, my friend, you put me on to Glenlivet 12, so thank you. Currently enjoying some. God, this Casey guy almost sounds like a dang double agent, lol. Keep up the good work, Nick. Oh, God. Oh, thanks. Thanks, buddy. Above average Peen Jeremy says, Marchi dodging papers like Ali did the draft. Woo! Shots fired. Muhammad Ali shaking hands joke. Never mind. Gotta move past it. Quacky Boy says, we need eat a jelly bean B-word shirt / patch Nick. Yeah, I think we're supposed to be working on it. My art guy's been very busy, and so have I. SM Scorks 89 says, Rooster Teeth have their own skeletons in their closet. For those in chat, look up who David Dreger was and why Rooster Teeth kicked him out. Let's see. Eric Bell says, can I email you about advice for my wife's career? Sure. The Dungeon Master. This whole situation fills me with a rage that I cannot properly express in words. So I expressed it with a GoFundMe donation instead. Blood for the Blood God, skulls for the Skull Throne, booze for the Lawsplainer, and most importantly, justice for Vic. Hey, thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate that GoFundMe donation. Thank you so much. Eric Bell. She has 3 masters in copyright law, but is a foreign national, has hard time finding a foothold to start her career. Well, I don't know how much I can help you, but I have some ideas. So email me for sure. Books Games Pottery says, Keck, it's your girl Books. Thanks for caring, and right back at you. Oh, that was nice. Let's see. DMNK Quake says the stupidity is over a septillion. That's 24 zeros, B words. Andy M says if 400. Oh wait, I read that one. Carrie Doob says that isn't a few, not even a ream of paper. It's a tome. Referring to Toye's defamatory tweets. Mark Nicholas says, is this lawyer secretly Shane in disguise? No comment. The Mr. Anime Watcher says, oof. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. All the plane and driving today, man. Oof. Rooster Teeth sold out and Shane is the lawyer. I like the Spike Man says, I unsubbed from Slow-Mo Guys and Achievement Hunter, all Rooster Teeth consorts. So there you go. Big Boss 1984 says, can you guys check out my GoFundMe? Stooge Muffin Stuffin says, someone get Casey a helmet. He might hurt himself. John Sargent says, is Chris entering evidence for Vic? I have no idea. Tim Seals says, I came in late and I'm having connection issues, so forgive me for what won't work, but do you think that we could get Lewis Black to argue this stuff? That'd be funny. That'd be pretty funny. And let's see. Eric Rader says, Monica, Rial, and Ron Toye should be unemployed. There you go. Oh. Jesse Trevino says, Ballast Mitch. These hands, as Monica and Ron lose to Vic and are forced to pay out, becoming destitute and homeless in the process, Monica has to whore herself out. Wow, that's harsh. And Ron stays with her because her sleeping with so many other men fulfills his cuckold fantasy. Woo! That's a dark future. Dark future. Talbot Lynx says, I feel like the statute of limitation talk is based on the altered 2017 poll post. Also, if I were a judge, this would make me flip my desk. Heavy, heavy desk. Yeah. Jonathan Uppetier says, cheers. Hey, cheers back to you, buddy. Where Tiger Ray says, could Marchi be dodging service strategically? Is there any advantage of having the others go to trial first before her? No, not really. Pro Hero All Might says, everyone says Vic Mignogna is the biggest scandal to hit YouTube this year. Pro Jereb says, hold my penis. Mark C says, I heard they dubbed the woman Monica's Bile. The woman Monica Bile. There you go. LF Quest says, Sabat and some Rooster Teeth people will be at Phoenix Comic Con in a week. Plus, considering walking with around the signing floor with a Vic did nothing wrong sign. Again, I'm not going to endorse any of that activity. I say don't make drama for the cons, but that's me. I'm not in charge of anybody. But I wouldn't do anything like that. Because you're likely to get thrown out. To be brutally honest, you're likely to get thrown out if you do that. Zachary Zwickle says they won't block you on Twitter because they would see it as you would see it as a win for you and getting that much more pleasure from the fact. Mike Gilbert says stay funny and keep educating. Will do. Cutie Honey, 30, thank you for the donation. Talon Sears says the only thing we're missing is commentary from Ty. Yeah, I don't know how much Ty will be on talking about the case while it's actually going on. Remember, everything Ty did before was before papers were served. So, you know, technically wasn't a case yet. Now there is one. So we'll see. We'll see. That could be updated, I suppose. Charles S. says, dear God, at this point, I think they would be better off letting this lawyer go and demanding trial by combat. Octorian says, embarrassing display? No, it was a shameful display. Dulcet Tone says, Nick sent you an email, maybe missed, will resend. Please resend. It's very possible that I missed it. You will not offend me by resending that email. Afroman John says, how involved with the response would Monica and Ron have been? Very, very. They would likely have to sign off on it and give it final approval. Like, would they have been able to add or nix stuff from the document? Yes. Well, I mean, within reason. Their lawyer would, of course, advise them. Goro says, been blocked by Shane since sending you that Payless article. I guess he is offended due to my lack of soul food. Oh, well. Can't win them all. Smiley, smiley. Winky, winky, winky face. Thank you. Not a Name says, instead of syphilis, when he reached for that ace, sounded like he ended up with gonosyphilis. Syphilis. I don't know what that is. Sounds horrible. Venomine says, drinking beer that has the same aftertaste as vomit. Gross. That's why I don't drink beer. Gong Shuben says, I missed you read my last one, so here we go again. Hey, thanks, buddy. Texan83 says, August on your mind because new Tool album on the 30th? Really? Altira Mungara says, when can we expect a response from the Beard to this train wreck of an answer? Do you have a hot take from Ty? Not at this moment. I don't have a hot take from Ty at this moment. Reached out to Beard Eris, Bullock and Hughes for comment on this, and currently they're not offering comment on this. So we'll see. Certainly there's going to be something happening on the 30th. When would they, when would we expect a response from the Beard? I'm not positive on that. Mr. Leon says, can I get a shout out? I graduate from university this Thursday, my guy. Hey, congrats, my man. Do it. Happy to hear that you are succeeding. Best wishes to you. Cold Fusion Waffles says, wait, did these idiots confuse Vic with Freddy Krueger? He goes after kids and 20-somethings playing teens, not desperate, uneffable cougars. Could be. Bad Guy 292. My first super chat. Did you watch Freeman's Mind? I have not watched it yet. Nova Zero says, notice me, senpai. Jamie Marchi 2019 playing hide and seek before running away, afraid of losing. Exceptional. Cold Fusion Waffles says, for perfection. STFU. Also, Nick, love the coverage. Hey, thanks, buddy. Gay and Still at Large says, perfection says you shouldn't take super chat money. Doesn't mention justice chat money. Rollsave.jpg. Christopher Nicholson, thank you for the donations. Okashi American says, here's one for perfection. Nick, you were a godsend when you popped up in February, and I've been so grateful for everything you've done to help us weebs. Hey, my pleasure, my man. My pleasure. Rolana One says, could Ty get this answer struck as it defames his client? He could probably get parts of it struck. I don't know if he's going to or not. I don't know if they'll play that game, but it's certainly a possibility. Stooge Muffin Stuffin says, a couple of streams ago, Perfection got bodied in chat. I think he's still salty about it, lol. Well, that's his fault, not mine. Schwazoom says, how much of this is Casey's fault and how much of it is him doing his best to salvage a trash fire of a case? I think it's probably all the latter. I can't, I'm still in this headspace where Casey is competent. I'm not ready to let go of that yet because that would defeat my faith in humanity. HR Hakan says, man, today I learned that pull wasn't pull. Oh, wait, I read that one. The more you know, I was so confused. Mike Lombardo says, what really sucks is that Funimation currently dubs like 80% of anime. That's why I feel it's more crushing to have lost his job over this. Yeah, of course. But that may be changing. We'll have to see. Let's see. Mark C says, you haven't lived till you tried Japanese whiskey. Japanese whiskey, very good stuff. Bad Guy 292 says, yo, my second super chat. You missed the first one. I didn't. I hadn't read, this level yet. I enjoyed your stream with Ross Scott. Did you watch Freeman's Mind? Not yet. And what did you think of it? I'll let you know when I do watch it. Picky Gaming says, screw perfection. I unsubscribed to that pussy when he was talking crap about you, Tug, Yellow Flash, etc. Keep up the great stream. I stand with Vic. I don't understand why some people are intent on fighting. Like, I don't get it. Again, if Perfection wanted to talk to me about something or he had beef, he could certainly just email me. I'd even go on his stream to do it. I don't mind. People can disagree with me. That's fine. Doing some call out on personal ethics, not really gonna fly personally. Devil Hunter Nero says, thanks Nick for the awesome streams. You help make my end of the day more entertaining with your law knowledge. Keep up the great work as always. Thank you, buddy. I will. Let's see. Franco Miranda says, first super chat. Keep up the fantastic work, Nick. Hey, thanks, buddy. Big Boss 1984 says, hey, Nick, I sent you a DM on Twitter. If you can help me out, I would really appreciate it. I'll have to try and find it. Bad Guy 292 says, you missed my first 2 super chats. I didn't miss them. Question, did you watch Freeman's Mind and did you like it? It's all timing, buddy. It's all. But thank you. Thank you for donating 3 times now. A Deadly Gas Cloud says, off topic, but have you ever gotten to Shane's letter, ex-Rooster Teeth employee that Hero told you about? No. I need to talk to Hero about that. Been busy lately, so not sure if you talked about it yet or not. Mr. Inflammable says, Jamie Marchi is proof that sass is a horrible personality trait when you have no accountability or humility. Narcticon DM says, the beard will be here as a Jedi spirit. Caldeo the horse says, perfection being a perfect bic. Cesario JPN says, Jamie Marchi cosplaying as Carmen Sandiego. Snarkicon DM says, we're donating the super chats to Nick's intern. Yeah, she needs it. Not getting paid by me. Rick Nikita says, perfection is a commie. And Bad Guy 292 says, apologize for asking multiple times. No, buddy, it's fine by me. I didn't know there was such a large delay to getting to answer these. My first time using super chat. Haha. Just as clarification, Bad Guy, I try to read all the $20 and higher ones right away, and then all the others I get to when I can. So, Venomine says, can you recommend a budget whiskey with good taste? Depends on your definition of budget. Basil Hayden's is really a good go-to whiskey. It's about $40 a bottle. Lower than that, there's a bottle in Kentucky of Evan Williams. It's like $11, but you can only buy it in Kentucky. It's actually pretty good. But if you're outside of Kentucky, that's a tough one. All right, Phantom Goblin, thank you for the donation. Let's get that outro music playing. Outro music. Oban 18 is not a budget whiskey. Not a budget whiskey at all. All right, guys. Thank you so much for let me get this. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for supporting me. Our outro is starting. So at the end of this outro, whoa, it's way too loud. At the end of this outro, I will go ahead and close down the stream. I need to rest because I've been at I need to rest because I've been at the whatchamacallit. I've been in Miami. I've been traveling for the past 4 days. I'm very tired. Can't even talk. But I appreciate you guys coming for this massive stream. Tomorrow I will be on the kill stream before my show. And then I will come to my show, which I will have Doug Tenaple on to talk about Earthworm Jim. We're going to talk about the intellectual property issues around Earthworm Jim. We're going to talk about the book and all that stuff and promote the GoFundMe, or the Indiegogo, of course. Freighter J says, before you go, have you tried Malort? I have not yet. But we're going to talk to Doug Tenaple tomorrow. Should be a good chat, because I think he had a little bit of a journey reacquiring the rights to Earthworm Jim that I think he did not have, and that is what has taken the video game and comics so long. But we will be talking about that later this week. We will have other stuff going on. I will announce it when I know, but I'm still all scrambled. on what's going on. So yeah, Let's see. Nervash082891 says, I managed to get my Death March code from Funimation, Nick. Don't know if you recall the super chat I did when you had the stream with Hero Hey. Off the top of my head, I don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, if Null invites me to his show, I'll definitely go on Null's stream. But Ralph invited me to come on the Kill stream, so I'm going to go. Ralph had me on when my channel was tiny. Ralph's always been good to me. If you guys don't like it, you certainly, don't watch. But I would encourage people to go check it out. I'm not sure what topics we'll be covering, but should be a fun time. I always enjoy my talks with Ralph, so... Mark Nicholas says, just dropping this to commemorate another week of the Blue Orca not being around. I think she might be back again, so too bad, but we'll see. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Peace. I will keep you apprised if anything changes in this stuff, or if I get any comments from the beard, I will let you know. I'm closing the stream down when the song's over. See you tomorrow. Peace. Peace.